Hello and welcome to tonight's episode of Late Night Q&A with ZodWriter featuring SweetSonjaG. I sure hope we're live now because I didn't hit the go live button before, so I'm over here talking and we weren't even live. What's up, Sonia? How you doing?
Okay. We had a busy week. Nothing spectacular happened, but I'm doing good. I'm cool.
Oh, okay.
How are you?
That's good. I'm doing okay. Been having a busy week, but other than that, I can't really complain. I'm glad to be back here for episode 20, and we got Snyder Fan in here as always. Snyder Fan 99 with his Hey Zod. Hey, what's up, Snyder Fan? Good to see you. Showcast saying Hey ZodWriter. Hello, SweetSonjaG. Hello. How you doing?
Hello, everybody.
And Showcast says, yeah, you're live now. Okay, cool. And Papa Brad says ZodWriter with video. Yeah, I got video. We got video tonight because I think we're okay. I don't know.
I hope so.
It's not
because I was having trouble logging in. Yeah, I was having trouble logging in.
I think they got some. I think they got some kind of.
Yeah,
they got somebody's got some kind of block on your internet or something, giving you the flux. It's like you're having a problem with connecting and all that. I don't understand that. I've never had that problem with StreamYard. It didn't have anything to do with my connection. It was a StreamYard error. It said 404. I don't know what that error. I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know why you would get that error code.
I'll look it up later and find out what it is, but it's a StreamYard error code.
Yeah. Okay.
Why you laughing, Papa Brad? You laughing?
And Marcus Cruz says, hi, Zod, just stopping by watching Jujitsu, the best shonen anime right now. Oh, that's cool, man. That's cool. Well, thanks for stopping by. You know, I appreciate all the people that come in here and say hello to me and Sonia and pay attention to the show, you know, whenever they can. I really appreciate that. We seem to have, some people like the show, some people don't like the show. I don't know. Some people say Sonia and I have chemistry. Some people say Sonia and I hate each other. Some people say Sonia and I act like a married couple. I don't know. I don't know. What do you think, Sonia? I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, we've been friends for a long time, so I don't know. I don't know if I want to look to you as like a brother or what. I just know we're homies. I know that much. We're really close, so we do tend to get into fights and arguments and stuff like that, but we get over it. You know, it's nothing. We'll forever be friends, no matter what happens.
Okay, cool. Well, I agree. I agree with you 100%. Everything you said was super cool, so I appreciate that. That makes perfect sense to me. The Snyder Fan 99 asks, Zod, are you a gamer? I play retro games. I'm into old school games, arcade games, that kind of thing. I'm not really into a lot of the modern games that are out now, but I do play them too from time to time. I have a PS4 and I play a lot of games on there, but I'm mostly into arcade games. I get super excited for the old school retro games. I never get tired of playing those. Sonia, are you a gamer?
What kind of question is that?
Well, for the audience. I'm asking for the audience.
Oh, yeah. I'm an Xbox girl, so yeah. I like to play several games. I like Skyrim. The Division is one of my favorite games, online games. I have a lot of old school arcade video games too that I play on the Xbox.
Yeah.
And I also play Tomb Raider, Mortal Kombat, things like that.
Well, that's cool. That's cool. And Papa Brad Gaming says you might be getting throttled by your internet provider. They love to do that. Yeah, that's something that they love to do too. And he says you might want to call them and have them reset your bandwidth. Yeah, that's a good idea. That works. That works too. Sometimes that's what happens. You'll be online trying to stream and internet, and you won't be getting the full bandwidth, and that's why it goes choppy and gives you errors and stuff. Console Fanboy says, yo, I'm making a John D diss track. It's coming out funny. Not sure if I'll release it, but I'm working on it now. I can't wait to hear it, Zohar. Bro, even if you don't release it, you got to send it to me because I love that type of stuff. You know I'm all about it. And if it's a John D diss track, I couldn't be more excited. Oh, my God, that sounds great. But you see, that's the thing. He's going to have to make sure he plays you in that Street Fighter match, because if he doesn't, that's going to look bad on him, because he's been promising the Street Fighter match for a long time. So he better deliver on that. But oh my God, the diss track, I can't wait. You're very musically inclined, Zohar. So that's awesome. I love it. I love it, man. That's great stuff. I wish I could give you a hug and say congratulations, dude. Seriously. So virtual hug. That is awesome, bro. And Kupi Malik says, hello all on panel and chat. Hope you all have a great time. What's up, Kupi? How you doing, man?
What's up, Kupi?
Are you at work right now, Kupi? Probably are. And Papa Brad's Gaming says, how did you meet Sonia? Well, we met over through
Angel.
Yeah, through when I was doing PSN Radio back in 2012. I was doing PSN Radio, and we met through there, and connected through Facebook and through the internet radio type stuff, and that's how we met. And we'd been talking for a while about doing some kind of collaboration show type thing, and then magically decided to do this. So here we are, 20 episodes later. I don't know.
That's funny.
It is. I don't know how. I don't really know. A lot of people would say, well, I don't know how you lock Sonia down to do 2 episodes, let alone 20. I don't know either, but we're on episode 20. So that shows that, there's some interest in it, because if people weren't interested, we wouldn't. I
even gave up roller skating on a third day.
Yeah. Well, aren't you going to, you said you don't roller skate on Fridays anymore either, right?
I've never roller skated on Fridays.
Okay.
It was always Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. So 4 times a week.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
I gave up Thursday.
Did you freeze? Looks like Sonia froze. Well, I'm sure she'll be back. Marcus Cruz says, Zod, do you plan on upgrading to PS5? You're missing out on all the PS4 games that look like next gen on PS5, 4K, 60 frames per second, 120 frames per second. The smoothness makes the graphics look next gen. I don't know. You froze briefly.
I don't know. And my mic, and then some message popped up saying your mic was disconnected from the stream or something like that. This is weird. I don't even think it's me. I think it's StreamYard. That is crazy.
Well, whatever happened, Sonia, your audio sounds better than it did when the show started. So I don't know. You sound better now.
Oh, I don't know.
So I don't know what happened. Maybe that was your laptop microphone that was causing the trouble, because you sound good now. Yeah, I don't know what happened.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I don't know, Marcus. I don't know. I'm not really into PS5. To tell you the truth, I'm not really into the PS4. I don't play my PS4 all that much. The last game I bought for PS4 was the Cotton Reboot, and I really, like I said, I don't really play it that much as it is, so I don't really feel like I'm missing out too much on PS5, because I really don't play PS4 all that much, but I still play all my old school arcade games. So that's a different kind of thing. And Marcus Cruz says Red Dead Redemption 2 is pure gaming cinema at its finest. That's a good way to describe a lot of these modern games, isn't it, Sonia? I mean, gaming cinema, because that's what it feels like.
They look like movies.
Right. You play a game, and you'll have a level where you're playing a game, and then you'll have like 5 minutes of gameplay, and then you'll have like a half hour movie scene. Like it's all becoming more like cinema now. So it's all getting completely absorbed, and it's all becoming just like interactive movies. They used to have interactive movies back in the 90s where it was like full motion video, and you would play a game, and then you would get like a bunch of cutscenes. Like the Wing Commander games were notorious for that. The PC Wing Commander games, people old enough to remember the 90s Wing Commander games, particularly Wing Commander 3 and 4 and Wing Commander Prophecy. They had full film budgets for these games, and you essentially had more movie than gameplay. But it was cool. I mean, it were great sci-fi action movies, but the gameplay, kind of suffered a little bit because they were trying to they were more focused on giving you a movie than they were on giving you a game. And that's what I think we're kind of coming back to now, where it's more about rivaling stuff that you get from the actual movies, which is okay. I don't mind. I don't care. It's like I'm to the point where I like arcade action fighting games. So I'll play those more than anything else, and I got arcades for that. So I'm totally fine in that area. What you doing, Sonia?
I was looking for something.
Oh, okay.
But never mind.
You sound. I'm just saying. You sound really good right now. So I don't know what that glitch was you had, but whatever it was, it like adjusted itself. So that's cool.
I have no idea.
and Console Fanboy says, anyway, just saying hi. I'm going to go back to finishing this ridiculously long song. Peace, LOL. The Division sucks. No blood, bye, LOL. Okay, cool. And Papa Brad Gaming says, hi, Zohar. And Papa Brad says that works often. It's them, not you. And Graphic Vandalism, Johnny Alpha wants to know, so what's the food situation tonight?
Well, I didn't eat dinner though. I mean, but I have lots of good veggies and fruit. I have strawberries, grapes, I have more things. But yeah.
Oh. Okay. The Snyder Fan 9199 says, did anyone see the trailer for the Saints Row reboot? It looks so bad. No, I didn't. Did you?
Nope. I don't even know what that is. I don't know what that is.
It's a video game. It's a video game. But no, I didn't see the trailer.
Saints Row.
Papa Brad's Gaming says Console Fanboy channel is on fire. Yeah, I said it before. Zohar is going to be at 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year, guaranteed. I'm still stuck at 419. Nobody cares about my little channel, but Zohar will be at 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I guarantee it. I'm telling you. I'm sitting here. I keep saying it's like all the people that I thought were my friends that actually supported, my channel and was cool with me and used to do collaboration. Most of those people don't even talk to me anymore for some reason. So I feel like, yeah, it's like I feel like I peaked at 419 subscribers. It's like I haven't gained a new subscriber in a few weeks. So I already know that, I feel.
Is that where you're still at?
Yeah, I'm still sitting at 419. People, exited my channel after that one show, and I never gained anybody else. After the show when you and I, the show when you and I argued at the end.
Oh,
that was it. That was the show, and I lost 3 subscribers, never got them back, and now I'm still at 419. So I don't know, but Zohar, my guess is 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. He says, it's just a song about how much he sucks at Street Fighter. That's a good thing, man. That's what I'm saying. Anything that you make like that, that's going to be great. Oh, my God, I love it. And he says, thanks, Brad. Love you. Peace all. Yeah, peace to you too, Zohar. Papa Brad's Gaming says Zohar actually has a beautiful voice. Yeah, Zohar does that. He has that little R&B thing going with his voice. It's pretty awesome. And let's see. Graphic Vandalism says it's bad luck to roller skate on a Friday.
Is it? Why is that, Johnny?
And he's asking you. He's saying it.
Explain.
He's asking you if it's bad luck to roller skate on Friday.
Because our monthly nights on Friday. We have, unless I go roller skating outdoors, but it's too hot to be roller skating. But the rinks have like family night. I don't feel like dealing with a bunch of little kids with those little roller. But yeah, I don't feel like dealing with all that, so I don't go on a Friday.
Okay, let's see here. Papa Brad's Gaming says those headphones look sci-fi. Can you read people's minds with those on? Sometimes Sonia can read my mind with her headphones on.
Yeah. Oh, you can't see mine because my hair is in the
Yeah,
way. But I have
she's got the same pair, but hers has the red and mine has the blue. It's so funny because my red ones, my red ones were completely, my red ones were awesome, and then they broke, so I ended up getting a new pair, and I had to get blue because they were out of red. But Koopy Malik says graphic. Mr. Gibbs says walking a sleeping man is bad luck. Waking a sleeping man is bad luck. And Johnny wants to know while he's roller skating. And Showcase says that's what I was gonna say. Sounds better, and no longer choppy. Yeah. Sonia sounds pretty good now.
I don't know what was going on. I just know I kept getting an error at first when I was trying to log into the stream, and then I don't know, and then it muted me. And
yeah, I don't know why it would mute you. It should if it mutes anybody, it should mute me. It should never mute you, because everybody wants to hear you. So
whatever.
And Graphic Vandalism says, oh yeah, the old point and click flow motion video games were the shit in the 90s. Yeah, that's what Wing Commander almost was. Wing Commander 3 and 4, they were supposed to be like flight simulator, like space dogfighting, almost like Star Wars simulator kind of games. And the movies were what was the most important. I mean, they hired like top tier actors at the time. They had Mark Hamill, Malcolm McDowell, John Rhys Davies. I think Mark Dacascos was even in a couple of them. And I mean, they had a bunch of actors and actresses. They were getting people. I don't know how they were getting these people, but they essentially were more focused on a movie. And I think the budget went more towards movies than it did for the actual games themselves. I don't know. Did you used to play any of those games back in the day, Sonia? The point and click type games?
No, not really.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
You're like, oh, okay.
No, because I used to play. I used to play Wing Commander, and then I played a couple others. There were. I
never heard of that before.
Wing Commander.
Was that a PC?
It was a PC game. Yeah, it was a PC game.
Not a PC gamer.
It came out for the original. I think Wing Commander 3 and 4 both came out for the original PlayStation, but they weren't as good for the original PlayStation as they were for the PC. The original PlayStation didn't have like the graphics capability or something, so a lot of the stuff that was on the PC was watered down when they ported it over to PlayStation. The only video game system to do Wing Commander right was Wing Commander 3, and they had it on the Panasonic 3DO. And 3DO was a system that was out around the same time as PlayStation 1. And I had the 3DO before I had a PlayStation. And that was one of the main games that I had, because I had a PC, and I loved Wing Commander 3 on the PC, so I got it for 3DO. And it was and it was fantastic. They were able to integrate the elements, the flying elements with the game, with the full motion video very, very well. So that was one of the few times where they actually got it right. I never understood why they couldn't get it right for the original PlayStation, because the original PlayStation was allegedly more powerful than the 3DO. So I never understood why there was such a discrepancy in the way it looked on the PlayStation versus the way it looked on 3DO. I don't know. I have no idea. I guess it just depends on who makes the ports of these games, because a lot of these games it's farmed out and they're made by different companies and stuff, so they tend to do different things and make different choices. I don't know. It's weird. Koopy Malik says, graphic nope, when he is sleeping in the pig's den, he is woken up by the sparrow. 3DO came out in 93. I don't know what year it came out, but I know I had a 3DO before I had a PlayStation 1. So 3DO was the first system I had, because I grew up with a Nintendo and a Super Nintendo. I had friends that had the Sega Genesis, but when the 32-bit era came out, I got a 3DO because the guy that the electronics store that I bought it from, the guy convinced me, oh, the 3DO is going to be the best system ever because they're going to have an additional component you're going to be able to connect to it, and it's going to be more powerful than any other video game system. And it was called like M2 or something, and it was supposed to make it super powerful, and it never came out. So it's like I had the 3DO, and there was never any additional upgrade or anything. But some of the games were cool. A lot of the games on 3DO were all like I want to say like ports of PC games. Oh, and I had a Sega Saturn too back in the day, and I really loved.
Oh, wow, you had.
I loved Sega Saturn. I had my Sega Saturn was one of the best video game systems I ever bought, because there was this import video game store over by my grandmother's house that my dad used to take me to, and I would always like go in the store, and I would be drooling over all the Japanese imported games that we couldn't get in the United States, that you could only buy at these imported stores, and they had some of the best games ever. I had like a couple of wrestling games, and I had like the Japanese version of Castlevania Symphony of the Night for the Sega Saturn. Wow. And had all these. So I ended up buying like a lot of games. Like I had when I had first started working, a lot of the money, my money would go towards a lot of these games at this import store. And I would buy I would always buy, like every week I'd be buying different, I'd buy a different game here, a different game there. And so I had a nice collection of Saturn, a nice collection for 3DO, and it was sad because I eventually had to sell everything, because I remember when I moved out and then I went to try and, and I was trying to find, trying to save my money and stuff. That's one of the first casualties when you need money, is your video game collection. A lot of that stuff just goes by the wayside because you have to think about other priorities. So, yeah. Koopy Malik says, anyone here played the OG King's Quest series? Love those games. Oh, yeah. Yeah, those games were awesome, man. Those games were great. I mean, those were fun. Those were fun PC games, and I think they were ported over to a bunch of systems. And Jedi here says, if you could go to space, would you go? No.
Hello?
No. I like what? Sci-fi movies, but I don't want to go to space.
Hello?
Yeah, hello.
You couldn't hear me?
No.
How weird.
You're roboting, Sonia. Now you're cutting out and roboting. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, you're roboting. Oh, there we go. So you tell her she's roboting and she cut herself off. But no, I wouldn't go to space. I have no desire to go to space. There's a lot of places that you know, I want to go here on Earth that I haven't seen, that I would prefer to go to before space. But I like virtual reality, and I think virtual reality is going to eventually give everybody that experience of being in space and stuff. So, Showcast says, yeah, it came around Sega CD era, then Saturn came out, then Puke Station 1. Yeah, I love the Saturn. I never had Sega Genesis, so I never had the Sega CD. The Sega CD was over my head because I just had I had a Super Nintendo. So, and here comes, I think Sonia's coming back. There we go.
I don't. Something is up with StreamYard. I'm telling you. When I left out of the studio, I got that message again. It kept saying 404, and then it said there's nothing. It was hard. It was not nothing to do with my computer or anything. I had to do it like 3 times before it let me on. I
Mm.
don't know what's going on. Maybe I need to go off camera. It'll
Yeah,
work
yeah. Try
fine.
try going off camera. I'll go off camera too. Let's see if we can make it better this way. Let's try here. Okay.
I don't know. Okay.
All right.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Okay. I don't sound robotic. We're gonna see if this works. It seems like it works every time we do it this way.
Yeah.
Why
Yeah,
StreamYard is tripping.
because it's not using as much bandwidth when you go off camera. You're just audio.
But I was telling you that you had skipped a bunch of comments that I was trying to tell you. Maybe
Oh,
you
well,
didn't
if I
hear
skipped a
me.
bunch of comments, it's because of that was because of StreamYard then. Cuz StreamYard must have
Okay.
jumped must have jumped. But I see what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it did skip a bunch of comments, but what can you do? Graphic Vandalism said, I never played a 3DO, but I remember the Burn Cycle game ads on MTV all the time when I was watching Ian Flux. Yeah, I never had Burn Cycle. I had, well, wait a minute. I may have had Burn Cycle because I burned a bunch of games for 3DO back in the day too. That was the thing. You could buy CDRs and you could copy 3DO games. So I had a bunch of copies of 3DO games. I had a bunch of stuff, even stuff I didn't play. So I had but I remember buying this pack because my brother used to like the Alone in the Dark video games for the PC. And 3DO was the only system that actually had Alone in the Dark ported over, like the original Alone in the Dark PC games. There were a couple of Alone in the Dark games that came out later for like PlayStation and other systems, but essentially the original PC games were only ported over to 3DO, and they were actually authentic, like their counterparts. So I don't know. I liked 3DO for that reason. What's the earliest video game system you had, Sonia?
Uh, Nintendo.
An original Nintendo?
Yes. Hey, Koopy Malik was asking where's Katsuka. I was asking the same thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like,
Katsuka popped up. Katsuka popped up on. He was up on briefly on the show that me and Johnny did yesterday. He stopped in, and then when YouTube pulled down our stream, um, YouTube pulled down our stream, and then Katsuka was gone. So I don't. He didn't come back for the next.
oh,
For when we
he's
did the show again.
here. Later.
Sonia, we're losing you. You sound all choppy again. Aw, this is crazy, man. I don't even know
I don't know.
what's
I don't
going on.
know. Wait, hold
Uh oh. Oh boy. Brad's Gaming says Dreamcast was way ahead of its time. I just modded one into an orange case today. You know what? I used to love the Dreamcast. I got to be honest with you. That was one of my all-time favorite systems. And that was another game that you could make, you could make copies of games, and you could burn CDs or DVDs, and you could have a bunch of fun games for it.
Okay.
No, Sonia, you completely cut out. I thought you were muted for a second.
It keeps muting me. It's muting me and unmuting me. I don't know what's going on with this streaming thing. This is crazy. I'm not even touching my computer, and the mute button, and then it'll unmute me, which is really freaking weird.
I don't know.
Hear me okay? I don't know. This is weird.
Yeah, you're not now you're robot Sonia, but it's okay. It's okay to be a robot. We're all a robot once in a while.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we're all a robot once in a while. I don't know what's going on.
You were a robot to me the last time we did this show.
Yeah, I guess I was.
Oh, this is weird.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you.
Well, maybe I'll shut up. Maybe I won't talk for the rest of the stream.
Well, why don't you come out and come back in? Come out and come back in, but don't turn your camera back on at all. Just come out and come back in with your camera off, and maybe that'll fix it.
Watch him get that error again, because I have to try like 3 times. I wish I could show you what the error looks.
And Showcast says the highlight was Street Fighter 2 Turbo, a Madden game, and Road Rash. I tried the Madden game. I wasn't a fan of the Madden game, but I did like the Street Fighter. As a matter of fact, the 3DO version of Street Fighter 2 Turbo is my favorite home port of Street Fighter of all time. I think it's awesome. The music alone makes it worth listening to. It's fantastic, to be honest with you. It's one of the best versions of the game you could possibly get. And Marcus Cruz says, don't glorify Hollywood anime. Hollywood anime is better in my opinion. All right, let's see if Sonia's back now. Hey, Sonia.
What's up?
Okay, now you sound very clear. Cool.
I don't know what's going on. This is just weird. And it didn't give me that error this time.
Well, you sound amazing. Oh my God, what happened?
Hey, Rushton.
I'm not gonna look a gift horse in the mouth. You sound good right now.
Okay.
And Showcast says for 3DO. Yeah. I think for 3DO, like I said, I think Street Fighter 2 Turbo for 3DO is like the best home port that anybody ever did, to be honest. Jedi says I miss my Tamagotchi. I don't know. And Koopy Malik says I sucked at Myst, never did finish it. I tried to play Myst on the PC a few times, and I got lost, just like you, Koopy Malik, and couldn't figure out the end, couldn't figure it out, so I stopped playing it.
What is that game about?
Myst is like a point and click like mystery game. Like you're clicking on you're in like this room and you're clicking on like pieces of furniture and stuff. You're trying to solve some kind of mystery. It's cool and fun and spooky. It has a lot of spooky music and stuff, but it's
Oh, for real? That's right up my alley.
Yeah, and it's just point and click. You don't do.
Oh.
It's not really. You don't really do anything. It's not like you have to control it or fight or anything. It's just point and click. Like a choose your own adventure game, like those Telltale games.
Yeah.
But it was like an early version, because it was in the early 90s, early to mid 90s, and you're clicking on stuff and you're choosing what it was fun though. I'd actually like to see Myst get a modern remake, of some sort and see what they could do with it now. Because with today's technology and the way they like to make every game into a movie, Myst might actually work. I don't know. What do you
It,
think? I mean, would you be
I
interested
don't
in
know.
something like that? I mean, I mean, you by being able to just click on the furniture and see like a cutscene, or you're looking
Y-
at something. I don't know.
Yeah, that sounds kind of cool. So how did Cookie feel at it? He's like, I sucked at Miss. I'm like, if it's just a point and click game, I don't know. It sounds
Well, like if you
simple.
make the wrong, yeah, but if you make the wrong decisions, it really bones you if you make the wrong decisions. It's not really one of those games where it's not forgiving. It's very difficult. It's a puzzler. It's more of a puzzle game. It's point and click, but it's a puzzler, so it's complicated. Papa Brad's Gaming says, is it expandable? Expandable video games? Modern video games now look cinematic and super realistic. Yeah, except that they look super realistic, except that they're still kind of polygonal. They're not quite perfect yet. They're getting there though. You
Oh,
know.
I'm sorry, Joey. I googled that game. They have it for the Oculus.
Oh, Mist.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah.
They have it for Nintendo Switch. They have
It
it for
would
Windows.
it would probably be good for it would probably
Oh
be
my
good in
gosh.
virtual reality, because in virtual reality you're actually in the rooms and stuff. So it would be kind of cool for virtual reality. I wouldn't buy it though. Brad's Gaming says Myst was kind of boring. CD-ROM. Yeah, it was a CD-ROM game. That's for sure.
Oh, they say you can now play it on your smartphone.
Oh well, there
I'm gonna
there you
look it
go. Yeah,
up.
put it on your smartphone. That'll give you something else to do when your sound is acting up on the show and you
Oh,
can't
shut
talk. You can
up.
you can just go on there and play Myst. Wasn't Seventh Guest a continuation of Myst? I think it was. Koopy, it was either a continuation or it was a really good move, a really good game on the same order as Myst. I'm loving that you guys are bringing up all these old classic games. It's really a trip down
It's like from
memory
the
lane.
90s, huh?
Yeah, yeah, a lot of
90s
good,
games.
lot of good stuff back in the '90s. I used to go to computer shows, and
Oh,
they would
wow.
sell all these. They would sell all the latest and greatest, newest like CD-ROM games. One of my favorite CD-ROM games ever from the '90s was a lawyer game called In the First Degree, where you were this lawyer and you were trying to solve this murder. You were trying to solve this murder mystery. You were trying to get the guy that was arrested for murder. You're trying to get him to get a guilty in the first degree verdict from the jury. Oh, it was so much fun. It was a super fun game. Super fun. And I knew it was a super fun game because my mother's not really into video games, but that was the game that she sat there in front of the computer and played it all the way through till she won.
Oh, wow.
I thought it was hilarious, because if you're a fan of like those like Law and Order type TV shows and stuff, this game is right up your alley, because it's point and click, and it's based off of the choices you make. You get decisions like in the dialogue and stuff, like you decide what to say and where to go next and whatever. And when you make the right choice, it's like you're rewarded by something happening, you know favorably for your character or whatever. And it's fun. I mean, there was In the First Degree, and then there was this real cool game called Silent Steel, where you're on a submarine and you have to actually make choices. You're the captain of the submarine. It's point and click, and you're an American submarine, captain of an American submarine, and you're fighting against a Russian submarine, and you have to make the right decisions as captain in order to avoid your submarine getting sunk. And it's really cool. There's a lot of drama. There's a lot of really cool dialogue and like really neat little action scenes on it. It was a full motion video game. So it was another one of those, but it was along the lines. But those point and click games were all the rage back then, for real. Papa Brad's Gaming says they were both early CD-ROM games to show off the tech. Yeah. It was just an idea of trying to, just say, oh yeah, we can do video because at the time everybody was competing with videotapes, with those VHS cassette tapes. And you're like, well, we have CD-ROM, so we can give you full motion video on a CD. So you don't need, and they were even putting movies on CD-ROMs. That's how crazy they were. You could buy movies, you could buy anime, you could buy movies on CD-ROMs. They were harder to get because you'd have to go to like a specialty store to get them. You'd have to go to like the computer shows or like a special software store that would happen to have that kind of stuff. But a lot of times you could actually find like first run movie titles on CD-ROM, and it'd be funny because you'd see like a movie, it'd be like a movie, and it'd be like four CDs, but it would be it'd be the full movie. But yeah, it was just to show off CD-ROM technology. Igor says Genesis had some great titles that they licensed. Oh yeah, Genesis was fantastic. You can get, there's a lot of games nowadays you can get. Games are still being made for the Sega Genesis. New games. Like, I don't know, Igor, if you ever played Xeno Crisis, it's kind of like a remake of Smash TV, or not so much a remake of Smash TV, but kind of on the order of Smash TV, where you're these two military people and you just go through wave after wave, killing aliens and going from room to room, clearing the rooms to advance to the levels. It's a fun game. It's really addictive and it's great. And it's actually, you can actually buy a physical copy and actually play it on your Sega Genesis. It's insane. Papa Brad Gaming says, funny that at that time, speech and music were revolutionary in video games. Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're talking about, we're talking about like full speech, full movie, full everything. You almost like the older computers had to have special sound cards to be able to play any type of speech whatsoever. I don't know. What was the first computer you ever had, Sonia? I grew up on the Commodore 64.
I don't even remember.
That was the computer, and then the video game system was the Nintendo. We had the Commodore 64 computer, the Nintendo for video games, and then eventually we went over to the Super Nintendo. But the Commodore 64 was cool because the Commodore 64 had a ton of great games for it too, if you could get the games to work back in the day. Because a lot of times you'd have all these discs. Like, I had friends that like had tons and tons of discs, and what was funny is nobody ever bought games for the Commodore 64. All the games that people had for Commodore 64 were always pirated. So you'd go over to like a buddy's house, and a buddy would have like 10,000 discs with like 1,200 games each on a disc, and it would be so funny because you'd be like, oh, let's play Commando. And so you try to load up Commando on the Commodore 64, and you'd wait, 10 minutes, 15 minutes for the game to load. The loading times for Commodore 64 were ridiculous. And you want to know what was funny about that system? Sometimes a game would not load, and you would come back the next day and try to run it, and it would run. It would be so weird. It would be almost like the disk drive that was trying to boot these discs had a mind of its own. Like, sometimes it would let you play them, sometimes it wouldn't. It was weird. Like, I'd never seen a system like that. Like you could sit there and be like, because they had this for a Commodore 64, they had this awesome Bruce Lee game, but for some reason nobody could ever get Bruce Lee to run. So I'd be like, oh, well, I want to try to load up this Bruce Lee game, and it won't work no matter what we do. And like one day, I was just messing around on the Commodore 64, and I got the Bruce Lee game to boot up. I was so
Ooh.
excited, I called everybody I knew who had a Commodore 64, and I was like, I got it running. Bruce Lee's playing. It's running. I'm playing it now. Oh my God. It was insane. It was insane because nobody could get it to work. And I don't even know how. It just came on. And that defies reality. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. There's no reason in the world why one day the disc would work and the next day it wouldn't. Or vice versa. It makes no sense. I don't know. That computer tripped me out. It always tripped me out. And now, even on emulation, when if you want to emulate the Commodore 64, you can with all the titles that it came out for it. There was like a gazillion titles that came out for it. Anything and everything came out for Commodore 64. But here's the thing: if you try to run it through emulation, you experience the same issues. Sometimes the games will load. Sometimes they won't. And it'll be the same situation where you're waiting 20 minutes for the game to boot up, and then it doesn't boot up, and then you say whatever, you get out of it, and you decide to load it again later or another day, and it will work. It is weird. It's a weird system. Sega Saturn and Dreamcast were the most underrated systems of their time. Absolutely, they were underrated, and I think 3DO was underrated too, because 3DO had a few hidden gems on it as well. And Papa Brad's Gaming says, I have 3 Dreamcasts. I used to have a Dreamcast. I sold my Dreamcast a long time ago. A lot of the video game systems that I had, I sold. I still have my 3DO on the shelf though. But I think I sold almost every game I had for the 3DO.
Oh,
But
wow.
I still have the actual system on a shelf in my closet, and it's in great condition. I just right now I don't have any games to play on it, so I never took it out. And plus, it has like those old school connectors, so I don't really want to try to connect it to a. Had some weird. You could connect it with the with the yellow, white, and red RCA cables. You could connect it like that, or you could connect it with like the old school antenna for the TV kind of thing. And that was and that's kind of out of date nowadays. But yeah, you'd almost have to get like an HDMI converter if you really want to try and put it on a modern TV, or just emulate it. Emulation for it is pretty good. Igor says, I had an ex that got a Dreamcast exclusively to play House of the Dead. Oh, House of the Dead was fantastic. With the gun? Oh my God, man. What a fun game. What a fun game. What great memories. My cousin gave me his Saturn when the PlayStation 1 was about to come out. I loved that system. Didn't get enough love. Oh, I know. Sega Saturn. To me, Sega Saturn was better than PlayStation 1. I loved Sega Saturn. Every game that I had for Sega Saturn, I thought was a masterpiece. Probably because most of the games that I got for Sega Saturn were Japanese-only releases, and I thought I was cool because I would go to the import store and buy all these Japanese games that nobody could just go to the regular video game or computer store and pick up. So I always thought I was cool. I could go, I am like, I have X-Men versus Street Fighter with the 4 megabyte of RAM cartridge, and it's awesome, and it's just like the arcade and all this. I mean, it was fantastic. Taco Tuesday said Superman Live script revival with Cavill being discussed at WB. Haha, okay. And Graphic Vandalism says Alone in the Dark was so fun. The first Resident Evil, in my opinion. Oh my God, Johnny, I loved Alone in the Dark. Sonia, you ever played the original Alone in the Dark game?
No,
Where
I have not.
You're this dude walking around in this old creaky house, and you're being chased by monsters jumping out of closets, monsters under the bed, monsters in the attic, and the music was just so epic and creepy for the type of game that Alone in the Dark was. Alone in the Dark didn't have the greatest graphics because it was a early PC game. But man, I mean, you talk about a game that would creep you out. Oh, it was so much fun. Papa Brad's Gaming says 2 heavily modded ones, stock to play disc games. Awesome. Awesome. Very, very cool. Alone in the Dark was cool. Yeah, I love Alone in the Dark. I played that game. Oh, yes. Koopy Malik, I love the first Gabriel Knight game. Oh, yes. Gabriel Knight was fantastic. Man, you're speaking my language. That was a fun game. When they headed for MV and 3D polygonal ones, I lost the interest to play it. Oh, it was so much fun. That game was fantastic. Dude. Alone in the Dark, which one? Yeah, there's been quite a few of them. I think there's been like 3 or 4 of them, but the first one was my favorite one. The very first Alone in the Dark for the PC that was later ported to 3DO. I think they ported Alone in the Dark 2 over to 3DO as well, and it was super cool. Graphic Vandalism says, "Oh yeah, I love those old horror full motion video games like Gabriel Knight and Phantasmagoria." Oh, there's another one, Johnny. Phantasmagoria was incredible. That game, oh my god! And remember the old PC Blade Runner game? You guys remember that game?
Nope.
Oh my goodness, these were some great games. Remember the game, the Dennis Hopper cyberpunk point and click game, Hell? You guys remember Hell? Oh my god, dude, these games were fantastic. And then I remember for the PC there was this game I used to play, this fighting game called One Must Fall, where it was like a fighting game where you basically build and customize your own fighting robot, your own android, and it's like a fighting game. It's like a Street Fighter type game, but you're in like a tournament, and when you win money to get more parts to upgrade your robot, to make your robot more powerful for you to fight throughout, I remember the company that made it, Epic Mega Games, and they might have been the ones to come up with Wolfenstein and a couple other games too, Rise of the Triad and that kind of stuff. But One Must Fall was a fantastic fighting game, and it still holds up to this day. And it can be emulated through DOSBox, and it plays very, very well. It's a fun game. Jesse Allen says, "Hey, what's up, Jesse? How's everything going, man? Good to see you. Hashtag release the Ayer cut. What's up, man? How you been? I'm glad that you're here. It's always great to see you, buddy." Papa Brad's Gaming says, "Crappy Magnavox Odyssey 2 was my first on a black and white TV." Yeah, my parents had the Atari 2600. Pac-Man, Space Invaders, Combat, all those old games. You remember those old games, Sonia?
Yep. I have a disc with all of those old games that I play on my Xbox right now.
You got one of the
I have a
classic,
classic,
the
yeah.
classic arcade Midway that has all those old
I
games.
sure do.
Yeah, I know
Yeah.
which one you're talking about. The Midway Treasures. I know which one you're talking about.
I don't think it's called that. I don't know what it's called.
But it's
But
an arcade.
I know there's a bunch of games on it. Miss Pac-Man, Space Invaders, all of them are on there.
Oh, that's great. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Rushman says, "Zod, what's up? What's up, Rush? Good to see you, man." Oh, man. Rush, so glad you're here. Rush says, "Yo, Jesse." LOL. Jesse says, "Yo, Rush." And Sickness in the house. What's up, man? He says, "What up, brother ZodWriter?" What's up, Sickness? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Having a nice little turnout tonight. Appreciate it. Appreciate you guys showing me and Sonia some love in the chat, talking about all these old video games. Pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff. Another topic, guys, that I really wanted to bring up tonight, and I know, Sonia, you can relate to this too. The idea of so many streaming services. It's like totally getting on my nerves, because I was reading an article today talking about Paramount is about to pull all the Star Trek series off of Netflix to make them exclusive to Paramount Plus.
What?
And I was thinking, okay, why would you, if you've been accustomed to watching your Star Trek series, Voyager, the original Star Trek, Next Generation, all that stuff on Netflix and some of these other services. Why would you buy Paramount Plus just to stream Star Trek or anything else for that matter?
Oh my God.
Paramount Plus has got to be one of the most garbage streaming services I've ever seen in my life. How many streaming services do they want people to have? Like, I'm sitting here like, okay, you want us to have Netflix, you want us to have Disney Plus, you want us to have HBO Max, you want us to have Hulu, you want us to have Peacock, you want us to have Amazon Prime, Shudder, whatever else. It's ridiculous.
It's crazy.
I remember back in the day when it was Netflix was primary for everything else. And you might have for everything, and you might have had one other one. You might have had Hulu, or you might have had Amazon Prime because if you're an Amazon Prime person. But Sonja, I don't know about all these services, so now they want to sit there and be like, well, if you like this, you have to have this. If you like this, you have to have this. So it's all going to be like a la carte, and you're going to have 70 million different streaming services to be able to watch whatever you want to watch. It's ridiculous.
And then by the time you pay your monthly fee for each one, you would have been paid the 200 and something you would have been paying for satellite or cable.
Uh-huh.
That's freaking crazy.
I'm like, you guys can stick your Star Trek, because I look at it this way. I'm a big Star Trek fan. I got all the Star Trek shows on DVD. Okay, I got a couple seasons of like the original Star Trek on Blu-ray, and I got all the movies. But like, I don't care enough to want to get another service just for that. If they pull those shows off of Netflix, they're doing themselves a disservice, because really they're getting paid a big fee to have to show all those. And I mean, I was kind of like, when I saw like on it used to be called CBS All Access, and then I looked into it, and it's really the same interface and everything now as it was when it was Paramount Plus. It used to be CBS All Access. They didn't really change anything but the name, and you would think because they own all of these old school properties and all this stuff that they would have all that stuff on their streaming services. But they don't. Their streaming service is really, really limited, and they're living off of Star Trek because they've got the new Star Trek series, Discovery, and they've got Picard, and they've got that Lower Decks, and then now they're getting Strange New Worlds or whatever. But the thing is, if all you're going to do is live off of Star Trek, that's not enough to keep people subscribed from month to month. Especially if your diehard fans already have 8 million ways to watch Star Trek. It doesn't make any sense to me. So I'm just like, I'm scratching my head by that decision. It's going to be exclusive to Paramount Plus. It's like, who cares about Paramount Plus? What do you have on Paramount Plus to offer me that's going to keep me there from month to month? It's like at least with Disney Plus, if you have Disney Plus, you have all the Star Wars stuff, you have all the Marvel stuff, and then you have all the Disney stuff that they put out. So at least if you have that, you get a better deal than you would be getting with Paramount Plus. I'd rather have Disney Plus rather than Paramount. I don't know. I'm just like, they're crazy.
It looks like they are including like BET, CBS, Comedy Central, MTV, Nickelodeon, Nick Jr., and something else.
It's all going to be bundled with Paramount.
That's what I'm reading right here.
Well, that's what they're going to have to do, because they don't have enough. They're not putting out enough content to justify somebody paying them a monthly fee. I don't care if you're giving me Paramount Plus for $2 a month. That's still a fee that you're charging me every month for the same stuff that I was watching elsewhere. I don't have any desire to. It's just crazy to me. I'm so sick of streaming services. This is why I was telling my father a couple weeks ago, I'd rather just stick with Blu-ray and DVD. At least my physical copies, I know they're going to work. There's not going to be any buffering. I'm not going to be challenged when I want to watch the credits to a movie or a TV show, which is something I absolutely hate, where I'm being challenged when the show ends and I actually want to see the credits. They're saying skip the credits, and they're giving me like 3 seconds to make the decision to either watch the credits or they're going to skip it and jump me to the next movie or the next episode. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. I'm like, my God, I got to compete with you. I got to almost it's almost like playing a video game with this streaming service to watch the credits to the movie. Right. I don't get it. I'm like, you know what? This streaming stuff is getting ridiculous. I'm going to start watching my discs again. And I'm telling you, with Star Trek, I'm like, no problem. I got Blu-rays, I got DVDs. I'm good with Star Trek, so I don't care. You can take your Star Trek and shove it up your Paramount Plus. I'm happy for you. You can do what you want to do. That's not, if I want to watch Star Trek, I got other ways to watch Star Trek. It's crazy. I don't get these services at all. Their mentality. Marcus Cruz says, I bet the Avengers Tower in the MCU will become the Baxter Building. I assume rumor has it will appear in Spider-Man No Way Home. Probably. I don't know. Jesse Allen says, yo, sickness. Rushman says, yo, sickness. Jesse and Rush, sickness says. And Truth31 says, what's up, Zod and Sonia? Hey, Truth, what's up, man?
Hey, Truth.
Always good to see the Truth up in these chats. Papa Brad says, I wanted an Atari 2600. My mom said she got it because it was on sale, so I bought all the Atari stuff I wanted as a grown-up. Well, there you go. There you go. Well, that's part of the fun nowadays, isn't it, man? You know, now, as a grown-up, you know, on your own, you can get the things you want, you know, the systems you want and stuff. But for me, you know, I don't know. I'm a big fan of retro games, so I love emulation. I think emulation is fantastic for retro stuff. You know, I'm sure everybody that loves retro games has a nice little retro game collection. But if you really want to play the stuff, you know, it's like a lot like in this day, it's like emulation is just fine. I don't really have a problem emulating, you know, and that kind of thing. And you know, and you can emulate all the Atari that you want. You know, like I said, I was all nostalgic. I got this image that has all these Commodore 64 games, and I was able to go back and relive the endless amount of waiting I had to wait for a Commodore 64 game to load, and then the game didn't work, and then I had to load it up again. I don't know. It's crazy. And Graphic Vandalism, StreamYard used to do the same shit to me. Yeah, I remember, Johnny. StreamYard did it to you until you moved and got different internet, and now Johnny hasn't had a problem since. That's so weird. Johnny's like he got to the point where he couldn't do the show with me for a while because his internet was so bad that he kept getting knocked out of every single stream he would come in. StreamYard just wasn't working for him, and then he moved somewhere and he got great internet, and now he comes on the streams and he sounds perfect, never has any problems. And Truth says, Sonia.
Hey.
And Marcus Cruz says, what's up, Truth? And Truth says, what's up, Marcus? Jesse Allen says, hey, Truth. Everybody giving respect to Truth, and that's fantastic. I love Truth. Truth is the man.
Yeah,
Rushman says, yo, Sonia.
Hey.
And Truth31 says, hey, Jesse. And Koopy Malik says, graphic, I love the first one. The full motion video story is good, though. It's about a werewolf, if I'm not mistaken. And Showcast says, I saw a Dreamcast retrospective with 8 of the key Sega developers who created the system's best games. They were blaming themselves for the Dreamcast failure, saying their games weren't good enough. Oh, I don't know. There were a lot of great Dreamcast games. There were a lot. Oh, my God. I mean, and for Dreamcast, the games I remember the most off of Dreamcast were the shooters, the fighting games. I mean, fighting games, you want to talk about a great fighting game. Soul Calibur. The first Soul Calibur on Dreamcast. Oh my God. Fantastic. Still looks great to this day. Still holds up fantastically to this day.
Uh-oh, you sound like a robot.
Oh boy. Koopy Malik. Hey, sickness. And Papa Brad's Gaming says we lost video. Well, I hope we have video now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll start
Let me.
messing up if we go on video. It's probably gonna start
Yeah,
messing up.
yeah. It probably will start messing up. I'm not. I'm not
We'll
going.
see.
I'm not going back on video. Jesse Allen says, "Hey, Koopy," and Rush says, "Hey, Malik," and let's see. Koopy Malik says, "Does Nicotina still have the phenomenal intro for you when you appear there, sickness?" That's what I was gonna ask. I haven't seen Nicotina in a while, but I remember he had a cool intro for sickness. And Koopy Malik said, "Jesse Allen, hello, dude." And Showcast says the Dreamcast failure was to do with the management and Sony's brainwashing of the market when real gamers were outnumbered by fake gamers who only cared about Sony and not good games. Oh yeah, that's terrible. Cause I love the Dreamcast and I love the Sega Saturn. I'm a huge Saturn fan. I also loved the Genesis back in the day, but I never had a Genesis. I always played Genesis over at friends' house, and because I had Super Nintendo growing up, but I always loved Sega Genesis and everything Sega. I've been a Sega fan my whole life. That's why I
That's my
had.
brother.
Oh, really? He was a big Sega guy.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. I can't get enough. I mean, I even like later on the arcades, Sega Naomi and Dreamcast. I mean, Naomi and Atomis Wave Atomis Wave had a lot of great Sega games. Atomis Wave made the fantastic Fighting Fist of the North Star game that they made. That to this day holds up fantastically as a 2D fighter. Oh my God, unbelievably fun. I love Sega. I love Sega so much. Koopy Malik says, Rushman, hey there, my man. Koopy Malik, says yeah, so I guess that's the answer about the Nicotina intro. Down with the sickness, yes, down with the sickness. And sickness is showing off with his emojis. That's awesome. And Koopy Malik, yeah, dude. Yeah, everybody loves the sickness intro. That was like the coolest thing ever. And Showcast says, that and the PS2 era was the worst era of gaming. Ignorant fakers crediting Sony for everything, thinking gaming was puke station. Thank goodness Xbox, then we destroyed all that. Mist is better than Tylenol PM for putting you to sleep. Oh yeah, you could put that on your phone, Sonia, and if you're having trouble sleeping, I mean, there you go.
Nope, thank you.
And Virtual Cop, House of the Dead, Daytona USA, Nights. Yeah, those were all good games for Sega Saturn. Those were all fantastic games. Fantastic stuff. I had Virtual Cop, and I had the gun that went along with it. I had all that stuff. I miss the Sega Saturn days, man. Sega Saturn was a lot of fun. Thankfully, Sega Saturn can now be emulated as well, pretty faithfully, so that's kind of cool. Showcast says, now I'm experiencing it again to a lesser degree with comic book movies where people claim to be DC or Snyder fans but have no clue of DC and celebrate Hamada movies like the Suicide Squad and the Batman for access. Yeah, that's exactly what's going on now, Showcast. That's why I've kind of distanced myself from the fandom because I'm sick of this. I'm sick of these fair weather fake DC fans. People that claim to be all in it for DC and claim to be all in it for Snyder, but they're praising James Gunn and they're all excited for everything that we got coming up. If you're excited for all that future stuff that's coming up, and the idea of James Gunn, the idea they announced today about James Gunn possibly directing a Legion of Doom movie. Listen, I'm out. I could care less. I have no interest in any of that. I'm done. Like they can make whatever they want. Like I'm at the point now where like, listen, man, I'll support I'll support Marvel before I'll support anything that DC puts out at this point until DC gets their stuff together, because I'm sick and tired of this nonsense. The last thing I want to see is a James Gunn directed Legion of Doom movie. Now, here's a question. What happened to Darkseid? What happened to Apocalypse? What happened to the Invasion that we're supposed to get after the Snyder Cut? We're not going to get any of that, right? If we get a James Gunn Legion of Doom movie, right? I don't even want to talk about it. Oh, I hate that stuff so much. Koopy Malik says, now how many of you have played OG version of Strip Poker and Leisure Suit Larry? Let me tell you a story about Leisure Suit Larry. My favorite Leisure Suit Larry game came out for the PC and came out for the PlayStation 2. It was called Magna Cum Laude, and it was so much fun. I used to love that game, and it was like, it kind of looked like, the graphics kind of looked like Jimmy Neutron. Leisure Suit Larry looked like Jimmy Neutron, but it was hilarious, and it was so much fun. I'm actually thinking about, seeking the game out for the PC again and playing it, because it was a lot of fun. I remember the day they were point and click. They were a lot of fun, Koopy. I'm glad somebody remembers Leisure Suit Larry. You remember Leisure Suit Larry, Sonia?
No, I don't, Joe.
Oh, okay, because you weren't a PC person. I forgot.
I was not.
I forgot. Azteca says, side pocket on the Sega Genesis. Cool stuff. Showcast said, the Saturn was good for one thing. It became the #1 versus fighting game console. The Capcom ports of Alpha and Deathstalkers 2, sweet. Yeah, and the X-Men versus Street Fighter for Sega Saturn, the Japanese imported version with the 4 megabyte expansion cartridge. Oh my God. Just like the arcade, totally perfect. It even had that Japanese only exclusive character that you couldn't get in any other version of the game. Oh, it was wonderful. I missed those days. I remember playing it, and it was so much fun. And I had a fight stick for Sega Saturn at the time too. Oh, arcade perfect experience. It was wonderful. Wonderful stuff. Keely Chow says, hey everybody. What's going on? Showcast says, no, it's a good watch, man. One time only, or just a waste of time. Even better when you're drunk. Babbage's, yes, Babbage's. Oh my God, that's where I used to shop. Babbage's, Software, etc. Funco Land. Now I'm showing my age now, talking about Babbage's. Babbage's. I remember Babbage's. I remember the white, the white brick and mortar and the red Babbage's logo. Man, I miss that. I miss that a lot. That was the best store ever. I remember I got most of my games from there. I always had any computer games I wanted. I always went there to get them, and it was always a fun experience going in there and actually seeing new computer games on the shelf. Awesome stuff, man. What an experience. That's a Streets of Rage type of game that was released for Sega Genesis 2 years ago. Looks awesome. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're talking about Paprium. Paprium, okay, looks really cool. But apparently it has some sort of special chip in it. It's a very expensive game to try and get right now. It's on eBay. It goes on eBay now, starting at like $400 for a new copy. And it only goes up depending on the condition. It's a fairly new game, and it has some sort of chip in it that doesn't allow it to be emulated. But apparently so it can only play. It won't play in clone consoles or anything like that. It will only play on original Sega Genesis hardware. So unless you have an original old Sega Genesis sitting around, you won't be able to play it. And it won't even play on all models of Sega Genesis. I think it's only Models 1 and Models 2 of Sega Genesis that'll play it. If you got a Model 3, you're out of luck. But it's called Paprium, and it's an awesome fighting game. The graphics look amazing. It almost looks like it could have been made by Neo Geo. That's how good it looks. But it's it's a very expensive game. It's very, very hard to get a hold of nowadays. And like I said, unless you have original Sega Genesis hardware laying around still, you really can't do anything with it if you were to get it. So Papa Brad says Atari 400, 800, then Commodore 64, baby. Yeah, I love the Commodore 64. The game is called Paprium for the Sega Gen. Yeah, Paprium. Yep, that's the game. Papa Brad's Gaming says floppy disks. Sega single-handedly invented the modern game industry, but never really benefited in what they pioneered. That's true. Piracy was big even back then. Oh yeah, for the Commodore 64, forget about it. Like I said, nobody ever had any original Commodore 64 games. I had a couple though, because I would get my games from Babbage's, so I would go to Babbage's and buy a few every now and then. But yeah, anything you really wanted to play, you would just get, and it was because these games were so small in size that you could fit a ton of them on a floppy disk. It'd be like you could. So what? Who wants to go spend whatever you had to spend, like $25 on a new game? When you could get the ones that the pirates were putting out. They would charge you a couple dollars, and you'd have a disc with thousands of games on it, literally. But good luck trying to get all those thousands of games to run, though. Sometimes they would work, sometimes they wouldn't. That was the problem. But even when you would buy a game for the Commodore 64 and try to load it, there was no guarantee it was going to run all the time. That was just a quirk with the Commodore. And Showcase says, if you're talking about the Suicide Squad, I'll never watch it again, drunk or high. That bad, huh? Yeah, that bad. It was that bad. I don't know, man. I got a lot of friends that liked the Suicide Squad. Okay, so I'm trying not to hate on it too much, but for me, I mean, I don't want more movies like it. Okay, I don't want James Gunn coming back and directing Legion of Doom. I don't want more along those lines. I want to be done with that. So hopefully after this merger, we can all move on and we won't get any more of that nonsense. Papa Brad's Gaming says, Bruce Lee is fun. I play it on my At Games Legends Ultimate Arcade. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the At Games Legends Ultimate is amazing. I've got a Legends Gamer Pro, and I got coin ops associated with it, so I play a lot of arcade games. I did tried putting a bunch of other games on a hard drive too and added it, but it ended up being so hard, Papa, to navigate through all those games that I switched back to just arcade only for coin ops because it was just too much. There were just literally thousands and thousands of games to go through, and it was just such a difficult time trying to navigate through all that on coin ops. So I just went back to straight arcade games for the At Games. But At Games is fantastic. It holds up good. Yes, it does. Showcast says you should know if you watched it. I did, and now I'm regretting it. I personally won't watch anything related to James Gunn again. Peacemaker was a character I looked forward to, and they ruined him, so won't be watching his HBO show. Oh, yeah, I'm not going to be watching that HBO show either, and that looks terrible. To me, John Cena was horrible in that role. John Cena's not even that great of an actor.
Mm-mm.
I don't know. Do you like John Cena as an actor? I don't know.
I don't like John Cena at all.
Me either.
He caters to the Chinese. Anyway, we ain't gonna go there. Let me.
He not only that, but he's a terrible actor. He is. He's a terrible actor. He should just stick to wrestling and leave it alone.
Exactly.
I mean, people know you from wrestling, so just stick to wrestling. I mean, what's the problem here? Not everybody can be The Rock, okay? Not everybody has the ability to translate from one thing to the next. John Cena is not that guy. Showcase says, knowing Gunn, he will probably have Peacemaker killing kids. Oh, I wouldn't be shocked.
That is so sickening.
I wouldn't be shocked. I mean, it's a Peacemaker show. They'll probably make it TVMA, so it'll probably be just as over the top, gory, and ridiculous with all the child killing and child sex jokes and all that stuff. It'll
Okay,
probably
you're
be
making me sick to my stomach.
oh,
Can
it'll
we?
probably be horrible, and there'll probably be tons of rats in it too. I'm telling
Oh
you,
my
this guy is
gosh.
crazy. But Showcase, you should watch Carnival Row. Wonder why that doesn't continue. And Showcase says that was when anime got more mainstream, and Sega had the key franchises on the Saturn at the time, but never translated them, so they missed out. Yeah, I agree. I played number 10 player Bomberman on Saturn, and with Retro Ralph and your average gamer at Southern Fried Gaming Expo. The game held up amazingly. 10. That's cool. That is so awesome. Yeah, those games do hold up. Saturn games are fantastic. They hold up very, very well. They're very high quality. They're very well made. I mean, I love all Sega Saturn. I wish Sega Saturn got a better fate than it did. I really do, because the problem was in the United States, a lot of the great games that they got in Japan never got ported over to the US. We didn't get there's so many great games that we did not get over here for Sega Saturn. I mean, that's why for me it was always fun going to the you know the import video game shop, because they always had everything. They always had all the great Sega Saturn stuff. And it was expensive, but if you wanted to play the stuff that Sega Saturn was made for, you imported, because the stuff that you got from, the US, a lot of the games that you got in the US were just pure garbage. They didn't bother to license any of the good stuff because they knew it wouldn't sell out here. That's what the thing is. A lot of those Japanese games were too much for American audiences, so they didn't bother. You know, Sakura and Evangelion was huge back then and popular in the West, but Sega of America didn't release them. I don't know why they didn't transfer over. They should have, because those games were story-driven adventure games. So what they could have done was they could have ported them over and just translated them into English, but that never happened. Player Gaming, no, don't know about Carnival whatsoever. Kupi Malik says, I don't like first-person type games, but I do like watching people play it. Jesse Allen says, we got the gang up in here. That's awesome. Showcast says, it was either Atari or Namco collection Sonia's talking about. Oh, the classic arcade games that Sonia has? Probably.
Let me
Yeah,
see.
yeah, either Atari or Namco. That sounds about right. Those
Go
are
on.
those are good though. Jesse Allen says, I'm doing good, man. What about you? Showcast says, streaming is the new cable and getting more expensive. Yep. And Papa Brad says, I like the original Star Trek. I have the entire series. Me too. Showcast says, I only go with Star Trek to Deep Space Nine and the movies up to Generations. Any Trek beyond that doesn't exist to me. I'm with you. And imagine a Quentin Tarantino Star Trek. He is a huge fan of the original. He even quotes it in Kill Bill. Quentin Tarantino is a fan of everything. LOL. But he's past his prime now. His films after Pulp Fiction aren't up to scratch. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was fire. No one writes dialogue as good as him, and he is not PC. All right.
Yeah, Showcast, you're right. I went and grabbed the the case to that video game. It says Bandai Namco.
Yep,
That's
yep.
that's who made that.
That's a great collection. That's a
Yeah.
great collection of games. They got a lot of great stuff on there. Showcase says Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction, and then the two films he wrote, True Romance and Dusk Till Dawn, captured the energy he used to have. The others he directed and the other film he wrote, Born Killers, don't. I watch films if they're good, and not whether they're PC or not. Got too many political dogs hiding as fanboys, ruining the scene with their PC or non-PC BS. That's not what makes a film good or not.
Good or not.
And baby girl says, "Hi Zod and Sonia. Hey, what's up, baby girl?"
Hey, baby girl, where you been hiding? Ain't seen you around.
Koopy Malik says, "Hey, baby girl." Baby girl says, "Hey, Koopy Malik." And 9999 Dreamcast launch date. Yep. Oh, Dreamcast is awesome. I remember my first experience with Dreamcast. A friend of my sister's had it, and I got to play it. I mean, and he had a bunch of cool games for it right out of the gate. We were playing Power Stone and some first person, not a first person shooter, but a shooter game, a shmup. I remember playing that was pretty cool. I can't remember the name of it at this moment, but yeah, Dreamcast was excellent right out of the gate. Oh, and Sonic Adventure. I remember the Sonic Adventure games for Dreamcast when Dreamcast was new. Sega was so cool back then that they were mentioned in pop songs like "Jump Around." I got five on it and Notorious B.I.G. song.
No,
Yeah,
he didn't. Oh my gosh, I have all those CDs.
yeah.
That's
Everybody,
so funny.
seriously,
Chris Cross.
everybody loved Sega. Everybody loved Sega. Nobody was talking crap about Sega back in the day. Everybody loved Sega. Even the Super Nintendo, the fans of Super Nintendo
Oh my
during the
gosh.
Super Nintendo Sega Genesis days had to acknowledge that Sega Genesis had some superior ports. Honest to God. I mean, because Sega was second to none when it came to shooters, and and I mean, don't even get me started with the whole Mortal Kombat debacle back in the day. I mean, Sega had it all. Sega had it all going for them at the time, for real. And showcase that and a Sega game music sampled by Bone
Bone
Thugs and
Thugs.
Harmony.
Oh my
Yep,
gosh.
remember that. And Papa Brad's Gaming says, "Kneel before Zod." LOL. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Ain't nobody
Yes.
kneeling before Zod.
Nobody's kneeling before Zod anymore. Well, that's the truth. There ain't nobody kneeling before Zod anymore. I can't get any subscribers anymore, man. I've been blacklisted by a lot of folks apparently.
I don't know. They don't want to see you choked out bad enough. They don't want to see
No,
you
nobody
eat
wants to
Sonya
see me
bad
get choked
enough.
up. No. No, they don't want to. They don't want to see us together on a live stream
It's
in
all
person. They don't want to see that. I guess. Baby girl says, "Why would they give him a Legion of Doom movie? The Suicide Squad flopped hard. So what the FWB? I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Because it's not about what the fans want. It's not about what's successful. It's about who they like. It's about their ego. They like James Gunn. They don't like Zack Snyder, and they don't like the fans. So they're going to cater to James Gunn regardless of if his movie flops or if it's a success. They don't care because they like him. He's funny. He makes them laugh. He's the Marvel guy. They don't care about his personal life. They don't care about anything. They care about he's the Marvel guy. So he's the goose that laid the golden egg. So they're going to bring him in and they're going to use him as often as they can. I guarantee you. And I told people this in the beginning. I said this on that controversial stream that I did. The Suicide Squad, I think I called it the Suicide Squad conspiracy or cover up or something. I can't even remember, but I did a ZodWriter live from the couch before this movie came out, and I told people that the whole reason you're going to continue to see James Gunn is because they want to facilitate an eventual Marvel versus DC movie. And what have they been talking about in recent weeks? What have we been hearing lately? More and more articles are coming out about an eventual Marvel versus DC movie. Why? Because James Gunn is the conduit between Marvel and DC. He has a good working relationship. He's right up there with Kevin Feige over at Marvel. And now he's in good with the people in charge currently over at Warner Brothers. So the idea is to keep allowing James Gunn to make movies over at Marvel and DC and eventually facilitate that Marvel versus DC crossover movie. That's what's going to happen. I tried to tell people this at the beginning. I kept trying to tell people, if you support this James Gunn Suicide Squad movie, this is exactly the kind of stuff that you're going to get from here on out. Because Warner Brothers likes James Gunn. Disney and Marvel like James Gunn. So they're going to keep using this guy, and they're going to keep pumping out crap. So it doesn't matter. This movie, this was only the beginning. This is only the beginning. You're never, even if Legion of Doom doesn't happen, like what you're trying to say here, Showcast, even if Legion of Doom doesn't happen, you have to remember, you have 2 movies that are going to come out before this merger goes through. And if The Flash and The Batman are successful movies, Walter Hamada and Toby Emmerich will keep their jobs, will stay the heads of DC Films, and it will be business as usual, and we'll continue to get these types of films, and you will get that Legion of Doom movie from James Gunn. The only way it won't happen is if these movies are not successful and they can't justify keeping them, so they clean house. But they're not going to have any reason to clean house if Walter Hamada and Toby Emmerich have shown that their vision for DC moving forward is working. If they think that it's working and they think that fans are going to continue to eat it up, they're going to keep making those movies. Because Discovery is just like every other company. They just want to make money. They don't care where it comes from as long as you continue to make money and as long as you can justify. And honestly, it's almost like good word of mouth and people liking these movies and responding to these movies positively is more important to them than the money anyway, if you think about it. Because, all the stuff we did, to get the Snyder Cut released didn't mean squat to them at the end of the day. Because as good as the Snyder Cut did, they still hid the numbers. They don't want to tell anybody. They don't want to acknowledge the fan base. They hate us. They wish Zack Snyder was dead. And they're over here going out of their way to keep putting out movies that either contradict the Snyderverse or ignore it altogether. So I really don't have any hope as far as that goes unless these movies flop big time. And the Suicide Squad movie not doing all that well doesn't really matter, because here's the thing. They could just blame it on the pandemic. They could say, oh, well, the only reason it didn't do well in the movie theaters is because people still aren't comfortable going to the movies. So we're just gonna give James Gunn that one because James Gunn is a good filmmaker and people like his movies and he's a funny guy and he likes to create characters about characters eating children and that kind of stuff, and we love jokes about children, so we're gonna keep hiring this dude to come in and keep making our movies. That's what you're gonna get. I don't understand how anybody can actually think that this is the last we're gonna see of James Gunn, unless the Flash and the Batman are complete flops. You're gonna get more. You're gonna get more of the same from DC. That's what I'm telling you. It's not about whether or not what we want as fans, because believe me, they don't care about us as fans. We can all eat crap and die as far as the studio is concerned. They don't like us. They don't want nothing to do with us. It's the bane of their existence that they had to release that Snyder Cut. That's why there's so much resistance to releasing the Ayer Cut, because they don't want to continue anything that has to do with what Zack Snyder put out. So if they do a Legion of Doom movie, it follows up Justice League. It doesn't follow up the Snyder Cut. And it will fall more in line with the Suicide Squad, because if James Gunn is making it, it'll be goofy, ridiculous, and over the top, just like the Suicide Squad movie. So if you like James Gunn's style of movie, get used to it, because that's what you're gonna get. Papa Brad's Gaming says going to bed. Great show though. Thanks for being here, Papa Brad. I appreciate that. You coming in here showing me and Sweet Sonia G support. It's so great to have people like you here in the chat.
Have a good night.
And Sickness says, "Did you guys like Killer Instinct? I love that damn game." Killer Instinct to me is okay, but I'm more of a Mortal Kombat guy, to be honest with you. Killer Instinct came out at a time where they just, to me, it just felt like they were still trying to cash in on that. And you know what's funny about Killer Instinct? The game is notoriously difficult to emulate. And that's why, that's one of the reasons why I think when Arcade 1-Up comes out either the end of this year or next year sometime with their Killer Instinct cabinet, it's probably gonna sell really well. Showcast says a dude who has 3 films flop in a row won't last long under the new regime, and the Batman's gonna flop too. Showcast, I hope you're right. I really do. I really do, because to me, this Batman movie, this Robert Pattinson Batman movie that's coming out, I loathe that this movie exists. It's another one like the Suicide Squad. I don't want this movie. I don't want this movie. I don't even want that Flash movie. I want these movies gone, because these movies are gonna suck and nobody asked for them. And you know, I heard they were talking about a canary. A Black Canary movie or a Canary movie or something to follow up Birds of Prey. That's to tell you the mentality that they have. Birds of Prey didn't do very well, but they're talking about doing a sequel to that. So I don't understand the mentality of this studio at all. They're doing everything counter. It's almost like they know, these guys all know that they're on the way out. So they want to do as much damage to DC as a brand as they possibly can on the way out the door, to where it's going to literally take decades to repair DC. And I think that's what they're trying to do, to be honest with you. I really feel that way. And it doesn't help when you have fair weather fans who are in the fandom and claim to be here for DC, claim to be here for Snyder, but totally support and totally get on board for all these additional crap movies that are coming out. It makes no sense to me whatsoever. So if you're going to support that stuff, you can't complain when it's not good. You can't complain when it's just mediocre. If all you're going to do is jump on the bandwagon and be hyped for each movie that comes out, then how can you call yourself a fan? A fan doesn't just blindly accept anything that comes out. A fan actually has standards. I don't know. Koopy says, I don't know about Legion of Doom, but I do like the first Doom movie. Especially when Carl Urban wakes up and presses start and starts shooting. Oh, that's hilarious. That Koopy is my favorite comment of the night. So I'm going to go ahead and post that comment as the comment of the night, because I think that's very, very, that's very, very clever, and it is a great statement. Oh God, that's fantastic. Thank you, Koopy. Oh boy, Showcase says, yeah, Marvel superheroes, X-Men. Then you add Golden Axe, the Duel, Ninku Fighters, Megamix, Fighting Vipers, the Japanese Saturn was the system for the hardcore gamer. I completely agree. Sickness. Ooh, Killer Instinct. That one's cool. And Showcast says, sorry, Sora is like a beat-em-up version of Capcom's Alpha and other Versus series where you can change skins, unlock bosses, and secret characters in their original Genesis look. Wow, impressed. And Sickness says, Koopy Malik, yeah, it was hella dope. My brother used to put his character in purple and pink and call them the colors of death. Oh, wow. A Sickness that subtle. Eternal Champion CD was a great versus fighter. Oh, yeah, I remember Eternal Champion CD. That was cool. Yeah. F Pissmaker. I agree. I can't stand John Cena. He's a terrible wrestler, too. Hate John Cena. Baby girl Pissmaker. Yeah, for
That's
real.
funny.
And Cisco says, I really hope Bane does not show up in Peacemaker. If Batista doesn't wind up being cast as Bane, then I'm out. Oh, I'm already out. I have no desire to watch Peacemaker whatsoever. I will not be watching that show. Sickness says, I was thinking the same shit. Baby girl says, agreed, Cisco. Showcast says, we used to call it gray importing back then when you imported a game from Japan. I just remember always going to this Japanese import store on weekends by my grandmother's house, and it was so cool. It was so big on the inside, and the shelves were always filled to the brim with these import games that were super expensive, that were usually twice as much as any normal game that you would buy, but my God. I mean, the stuff that they had was just out of this world. I always used to sit there and say, God, I would love to work in this store, just to work here and sit here and play these games all day. That'd be fantastic. Cisco said, never knew all Batista has worked with both Gunn and Snyder, so it's up in the air. Just give me an HBO Max 8-episode mini-series, loose adaptation of Vengeance of Bane. That would be cool. That would actually be pretty cool. Koopy Malik says, I really wish they make an adaptation of Alien Isolation. Put Ellen Ripley to rest and continue with Emma Ripley. That'd be fun. Cisco says, Sick would be a complete waste if he's not cast as Bane. Koopy says that would be fire. And Baby Girl says, just been chilling, Sonia.
That's cool.
What are you doing, Sonia? Playing Myst?
No, oh my God. I didn't even download it. I don't even know where to find it. No, I'm paying attention to this show.
I was hoping I was hoping you put it on your phone because I wanted to get your reaction.
You're so stupid.
Alien Isolation as a series would be dope. Koopy Malik says, Cisco, yeah, right. It's the passing of the torch from Ellen to Emma. The game itself is fire. I was watching that, and most of the things you said have come to pass. And yeah, Johns is a double agent, and WB doesn't realize it. Feige played WB like a fiddle. Baby Girl says, facts, Zod. Well, if Shang-Chi and Eternals make over 100, they're at DC and can't use the pandemic excuse. None of Hamada's DCEU films made over $1 billion compared to Snyder-era films collectively. That's true. Baby Girl says the Batman won't flop, though, because it's a Batman movie. That's what I say. I'd say, although, I don't know, there's a possibility it could flop if it gets bad word of mouth. Plus, we got Robert Pattinson going around saying it's the most emo Batman has ever been. So I don't know exactly how that's going to correlate with fans, because I don't know if fans necessarily want an emo Batman. I don't know if I do.
Batman. Oh.
Emo Batman. I'm like, I just have zero interest in it altogether. And people are all over it and are all on the bandwagon and are all about giving Robert Pattinson a chance. So I don't know. And this is coming from like Snyder fans. There's a lot of Snyder fans who love Ben Affleck as Batman and claim that Ben Affleck is their Batman, but they're praising this Robert Pattinson because they saw one trailer where he stole the guy on a guy to death for 30 seconds. And that was enough to sway them. And, we're going to give it a chance. Oh, this is going to be the best Batman movie ever. Well, those are the kinds of people and those are the kinds of mentalities that I'm trying to stay away from. This is why I kind of distanced myself from a lot of people in the fandom because I don't like it. It's all hypocrisy and BS. How could you be supportive and claim to want a Ben Affleck versus Deathstroke movie and be all hyped up for Robert Pattinson's emo Batman? How can you even question why this movie wouldn't be a good idea? How can you support this? Oh, Matt Reeves is a good filmmaker. Oh, Robert Pattinson is a good actor. He'll do okay. I don't know about you, but I saw Robert Pattinson in the Twilight movies, and I seen Robert Pattinson collectively in a bunch of the indie movies that he's in, and he's an okay actor, but at no point do I look at him and say, oh yeah, that's Batman. Whereas Ben Affleck, you look at Ben Affleck and he embodies the character of Batman. So I don't even get why there's a comparison here or why people are so hyped up for this. If you claim to be in support and you want that Ben Affleck Batman movie, it's the same thing with James Gunn's Suicide Squad. By supporting this other stuff, you're defeating yourself. You're cutting off your nose to spite your face because you're proving to Warner Brothers that it's okay that they can give you anything and you'll support it. And so they don't have to continue the Snyderverse because you're going to forget about the Snyderverse as soon as Robert Pattinson's Batman movie comes out. Because as soon as that trailer dropped, I was amazed at all the people that came out. Oh, that's going to be such a great movie. Oh, Robert Pattinson, he's the Batman. Oh, like they all just completely forgot about Ben Affleck, completely forgot about the Snyder Cut, and we're all hyped over that. Listen, if that's the way you are, get the hell out of my fandom. I'm sick and tired of it. I feel like I'm living in the Twilight Zone. And these are people that literally that claim to love Zack Snyder. And, oh, I'm here for Zack. I'm here for Zack. No, you're not. You're just a bandwagon fan. You're here for nothing. You stand for nothing, so you fall for anything. Enjoy your Robert Pattinson Sparkles Batman movie. Ridiculous. Ugh. Sorry about the rant, but I had to get that out.
Sparkles Batman movie.
Oh.
Oh my goodness.
Oh. Sickness says, I feel the same way about the Batman movie. I don't like that it even exists. It was once Affleck's Batman movie, and people don't even give a shit. Yep, they don't. They missed the point entirely. Sickness. They missed the point. Showcase says a fan chasing clout does all fake Enosh vodka and nerd trying to be a dude and ping pong who now wearing some 4-piece jacket. Yeah, listen, everybody, it's like, listen, you're selling out. You're basically selling out for clout, and you're doing all this for access. And I don't know. I don't understand it myself. I don't understand any of it. I don't get it. If you are in support of something and you're a fan of something, how can you support something that is directly counter to what you want? That's what I'll never get. It's not that, well, Zod, why can't we like James Gunn's Suicide Squad and want Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 and 3 at the same time? What's wrong with wanting everything? Because by supporting the other thing, you're directly contradicting what you want. Because Warner Brothers is trying to take the franchise in a completely different direction. They want to distract you. They want you to forget about Zack Snyder's Justice League. They don't want you to think about the Snyderverse anymore. The whole reason this Matt Reeves Batman movie exists is because they want you to forget about Ben Affleck as Batman. People don't understand. It's not about you liking or not liking both. It's not about you supporting or not. It's about them trying to distract you using smoke and mirrors, and so many people falling for it. So many people jumping on the bandwagon, all of a sudden thinking that Ben Affleck is going to have competition from Robert Pattinson. Are you kidding me? If you actually believe that Robert Pattinson is going to be a better Batman than Ben Affleck, then we've all lost. There's no chance whatsoever of us getting a continuation of the Snyderverse when you have so many people who have already jumped on the bandwagon, forgotten about the Snyderverse, and are supporting Robert Pattinson's Batman movie. Give me a break. And then they wonder why so many of the OGs who were fighting for the Snyder Cut and fighting for the Ayer Cut in the movement in the beginning have left the movement, have gotten totally fed up, and have decided they don't care anymore. You know why? Because of stuff like this. Because so many people are just so excited and over the moon for these other movies, and a lot of these so-called Snyder fans did the same thing for James Gunn's Suicide Squad. They were all on the bandwagon. They were all, oh, it's a great movie. Oh, it's going to be great. I want to see King Shark. Oh, Polka Dot Man, Polka Dot Man, Polka Dot Man. Well, you got your Polka Dot Man, and we still don't have the Ayer Cut. So go figure. Ugh. Talk about selling out. I'm ranting today. I'm ranting today because I'm sick and tired of this stuff. I'm tired of it. That's why you don't see me on Twitter. You don't see me posting anything on Twitter. You hardly ever see me even talking about this stuff anymore because I'm fed up with it. I'm fed up with it, and I'm fed up with the so-called leaders of the Snyder Cut movement. Get the hell out of here. You're not leaders of anything. The only thing you're leaders of is the fact that you can't stand for anything. You fall for everything. You don't stand up for what you believe in. You have no belief system whatsoever. And you're not fans of anything. You're just in it for clout. You're in it for clicks. You're in it for whatever's going to get you access. And that's all you care about. And I'm tired of people like that. I'm tired of the fakeness. I'm tired of the I'll do anything for clicks and views. And maybe that's why my channel, only has so many people. Maybe that's why I peaked. Because people don't like it when you tell them the truth. People don't like it when you bring some common sense into the conversation. People like it when you lie to them and you sugarcoat and you pretend to like everything. Well, I'm not like that. I don't pretend to like nothing. Okay? If I don't like it, I'm going to tell you I don't like it. And if I like it, I'll praise it and give you the reasons why. But one thing I'm not going to do is lie and sit there and talk about how great a movie is when I don't know nothing about it or I haven't seen it or whatever, or I'm doing it just to get access or just to get favor with actors, actresses, and movie directors. Miss me with that. Seriously. Koopy Malik says sickness. The studio that doesn't give a shit gave it to a director that also doesn't give a shit. So it's a shitty situation. Koopy Malik, exactly. I couldn't have said it better myself. Showcast says Batista was supporting Gunn hard, but then passed the Suicide Squad for Snyder's Army of the Dead. I don't know if he want to work with Gunn again outside of Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't know. If I was Batista, I would want to continue working with Zack Snyder and other better caliber filmmakers. I'd want to stay as far away from James Gunn as possible. Because that guy not only is a terrible filmmaker, but it sounds like from what's going on outside of films that he's a horrible person too. So you have a lot of things at play here. So if I was Batista, I would think long and hard about if I even want to be in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Because if I was him, I would drop out of that too, like a hot potato. Emo Sparkles, oh good Lord. Yes. Robert Pattinson is on record as saying that the Batman is going to be the most emo version of Batman ever. So I guess that's supposed to be good. That's supposed to make us OG Batman fans really excited because you know how me and Sonia love our emo Batman. Batman's got to be emo. Oh my God! When I hear the word emo or emotional associated with Batman, I literally lose it because I'm like, The character is not emo on any level. Batman is the opposite of emo. Batman focuses his energies and his anger out on what he does physically, his actions. He's not emo. Okay, Robert Pattinson. All right, man. Vega, what's up, man? He says, how's it going, my brother Zod and Sweet Sonia? Oh, good to see Vega in the house, man. Vega, that's another real brother right there. I'll tell you, Vega has been keeping it real, just like myself, from day one. We're the types of people who always keep it real, and people don't like that. Like I said, they don't like it when you keep it real. You keep it real, they shun you because they feel like the truth hurts. They don't ever want to hear when you tell them the truth because they think, they feel like they're being told something that might actually happen, and they don't want to hear that. So when you tell them, Robert Pattinson's Batman movie is gonna suck, they get all mad and they get all angry and they get all butthurt because they know that there's a possibility that might actually happen, that movie might actually suck. Oh, Showcast says the pattern so far suggests it will flop. Hamada's films have all flopped except one, which didn't, but he and Toby gave half the profit away. Oh yeah, you're talking about Joker. The movie that Hamada and Emmerich didn't want at the studio anyway. And Sickness says, that's real shit, Zod. Yeah, I try to keep it real. And that's why people don't like me. That's why people unfollow me so much on Twitter. That's why I only have 419 subscribers. Because I keep it real. I don't lie to folks. And I'm not going to start lying to folks just to get some Zaccess or access or whatever the hell these people want. I was never in this. I was interviewing celebrities. Before most of these people would have ever even thought of doing YouTube videos.
Yep,
all right.
You were on PSN.
When I was on PSN, I was interviewing movie directors. I was interviewing actors, actresses. I had musicians on my show. I was interviewing tons of people. I was never in it for clout. I was never in it for anything. I did it because I enjoyed doing it and because it was fun. I didn't do it for any other reason, and I didn't care what anybody thought. And you know how much flack I got when I had Uwe Boll, the controversial German movie director, on my show? You know how much hate I got for interviewing that guy? But you know what? I didn't care, because that's a filmmaker with balls, and he's not afraid to say what he thinks. He's not afraid to put it all out there, and about how he doesn't care about the studio system. Listen, I'm at the point now where I don't care how many people unfollow me. I don't care how many people block me. I don't care who likes me. I don't care who doesn't. I don't give a damn. And I'm going to tell you the truth. A lot of these people, they don't want you to hold the mirror up and show them how stupid and ridiculous they're being. They're not fans. They're not. And they know who they are. I don't have to name them. They're not fans. All right? They're in it for themselves. They're in it for their brand, and they don't care one way or the other if the Snyderverse continues. I can tell you that right now. So when these people act like they're all in it for Snyder and they love Snyder, it's like doing the hokey pokey, and you turn yourself about. That's all it is. They're just going through the motions. They don't care. That's not what they're here for. So when you have OGs like me and Vega who've been there and who were doing what we were doing it because we're here for Zach. We're doing it because we support the art. We support the filmmaker. I mean, if I was doing this because I wanted to interview Zack Snyder, then I'm doing this for the wrong reason. If I'm doing this because I want to have Batista on my live stream, I'm doing it for the wrong reasons. You got to think about this for a second. How many times can Zack Snyder go on the same people's live streams before it's no longer special to have Zack Snyder on your live stream anymore? How many times before and let me ask you something. What happens to these people's channels after they stop having people like Zack Snyder on their live streams? I'll tell you what happens. Their views turn to trash because people don't really care what they think. And after you've had Zack Snyder on your live stream 5 or 6 times, where do you go from there? What happens? Where do you go? You've already gone as far as you can go. You've had Zack Snyder on your stream 5 or 6 times. How are you going to top that now? Now what are you going to do? What are you going to do for an encore? People have to think about these things. People have to stop and consider what it is what are you in here for? What is it that you want? So it's like you have these same people now kissing up, talking about how great James Gunn's Suicide Squad is. You have these same people all excited for the Batman with Robert Pattinson and all excited for this, whatever this Flash movie's going to be. I respect people who have it within them to say what they really think and say what they really feel. But these people, you don't know what they really think and you don't really know what they feel because they put on a facade and act one way when they get in front of the camera, and you don't know how they are off camera. It's hypocrisy at its finest, and it needs to be eradicated. But unfortunately, people keep supporting it, so it's going to continue till the end of time. And Marcus Cruz says, I want the FCU Fantastic Four set in the 1960s. It would be really interesting and unique. I want it to be set in the 1960s as well, Marcus, but I don't think it's going to, because if you set it in the 1960s, you're going to have a lot of baggage you're going to have to build upon based on the modern MCU. That's the problem. So much of the MCU has been established already that if you set the Fantastic Four in the 1960s, you're going to have to explain why none of the stuff the Fantastic Four did in the 60s came into play in any of these modern films. That's the issue you're going to have, especially with all the time travel and timey-wimey stuff they've been doing in these recent Marvel movies. And Koopy Malik says, okay, need to go. Y'all have fun now. Bye. Bye all. Bye, Koopy. Have a great day at work, man. Appreciate you being here. And Sickness says, what's up, Vega? And Marcus Cruz says, and Reed Richards will be a student of Hank Pym. It makes all the sense. Oh, that'd be cool. I wouldn't mind that. That actually does make sense. Don't forget, Batman Begins underperformed, but the sequel's made $1 billion. Being a Batman film, it's guaranteed it's a hit. Oh yeah, it's guaranteed it's a hit because normal people that go see these movies, the general audience, and this is what I was saying on Twitter the other day. People were complaining, nobody wants to see a Marvel versus DC movie. Why do they keep talking about Marvel versus DC? And I said this. It's because they're not talking about us as fans. They don't care what the fans want. They care what's going to put butts in the seats and what's going to make money. The general audience is going to eat it up when they see Superman and Spider-Man on the screen together. I mean, are you kidding me? When they see the Hulk on the screen with Wonder Woman, people are going to lose their collective minds. And these are just normal people. We're not even talking about fans. We're talking about just normal, everyday people that go to the movies, that don't follow the comic books, don't follow the cartoons, don't watch the TV shows. They just go to the movies and see these films. These people are going to lose their collective minds when that Marvel versus DC movie happens. So for the same reason Marvel versus DC is going to happen, and it's going to make both studios billions of dollars, the same exact point that you just made, Showcast, about Robert Pattinson's Batman. It's a Batman movie. Batman is a cash cow. It's going to make money regardless of who's under the cowl. It doesn't matter. You could put Justin Bieber under the cowl as Batman and the movie would make $1 billion. It doesn't matter because it's Batman. Until Batman starts to consistently flop or lose steam as a character, any Batman films like that are going to make money, which is why I don't understand why that Batman versus Deathstroke movie wasn't allowed to go through. You know, screw Matt Reeves. Matt Reeves could have made his Batman movie with Robert Pattinson after Ben Affleck's Deathstroke movie came out, because the Ben Affleck Deathstroke movie would have made $1 billion easy, because like it or not, Ben Affleck is a very, very popular Batman, and he would have put butts into seats. And because it's a Batman movie, the general public wouldn't have cared. They would have went to see it. So I'm with you. I'm with you 100%. I don't see that Pattinson Batman movie flopping. And if it flops, it's a miracle, because that's the only way you're going to get rid of Hamada and Emmerich. Otherwise, Hamada and Emmerich are going to be there, and you're never going to be able to get rid of them, because that Batman movie is going to justify them being there. And Marcus Cruz said Pattinson's Batman will be more brutal than Affleck. Have you not seen what Matt Reeves described? How Matt Reeves described the Batman? He said that the Batman is personal and wants revenge, can't control himself. You're missing the point. You're missing my point entirely. See, Marcus, you're drinking the Kool-Aid. That's what they want you to believe. That's what they want you to think. They want you to believe all this philosophical crap about Robert Pattinson's Batman. The line you just said about his Batman being more brutal than Ben Affleck's Batman, that's not a justifiable reason to say that it's going to be better than Ben Affleck's Batman just because it's more brutal. They're trying to get you to focus away from Ben Affleck. They don't want you, okay, to want more Ben Affleck. They want you to focus on Robert Pattinson. So they're trying to get you and everybody else to buy into this idea that Pattinson's going to be a more brutal, more whatever, more emo, whatever, and it's going to be, and that's why you should be invested in this Batman. Don't look at this Batman over here. Look at the Batman that we're doing over here. Listen to the Nirvana music. Look at what we're doing with the Riddler. Look at what we're doing over here. Look at that. That's a Court of Owls reference. Listen, they know what they're doing. They want to divide the fan base, and that's what they have successfully done. Like it or not, by promoting this Robert Pattinson Batman movie, they have created a division in the fan base, which is why the odds are against us ever getting a Ben Affleck solo Batman movie now, because they want people to be solely focused on this Robert Pattinson thing, which, unfortunately, that's working. That's exactly what's happening. People are on the bandwagon. People are excited. People are saying things exactly like what you just said, Marcus, and that's exactly why that's exactly why I don't see how there could be a movement for anything anymore when it comes to these movies, because studios know that you will just accept whatever they give you, and that's the bottom line. If you just accept anything, then those are the kinds of movies you're going to get, whether they're good or not. They don't care, because they'll be like, oh, well, you know what? That didn't work out. They didn't like that one. We'll just Justin Bieber, you can be Batman next time. There you go. And Showcast says the Snyder Cut movement was okay until the announcement of its release. Then those fakers like Enosh, Nerd Queens, and others hijacked it with Screen Rant and that Snyder Cut book guy. I'm glad the movie came out. I'm glad we finally got it. And that's why I said if Zack Snyder never makes another DC movie, I'll be completely fine with that. Because we are in a position now where we could say at least we got 3 super high quality films in Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, and Zack Snyder's Justice League. And The Joker was a quality film as well. But again, The Joker was not a movie that Hamada and Emmerich were really in support of. So I guess that's a plus for the rest of us. And Vegas says the movie Joker did phenomenal. Despite that, it was Jared Leto, or more importantly, Heath Ledger. But what I feel, what's more important is that the movie was robbed from Ben Affleck. Oh, absolutely. Ben Affleck was absolutely robbed. Ben Affleck has played Batman longer than anybody else has ever played him cinematically, yet he gets no solo movie. Yet we have to sit here. We should be looking forward. Actually, Ben Affleck's solo movie should have came out already. Okay? Ben Affleck should be completely done with his run as Batman right now if things proceeded the way they were supposed to, right? But instead, Ben Affleck gets no solo movie, and look at what we have to look forward to next year. Sparkles Batman. Ooh, baby. Baby girl says, no, Marcus, I doubt he'll be any more brutal than Batfleck. The point is, though, Batman is brutal to a point. He's not supposed to be brutal because he's just some emo freak with issues. Okay? Batman is brutal for a purpose. Robert Pattinson's Batman just sounds like he's going to be brutal because he has personal issues that need to be worked out. He sounds like he's actually going to be a nutcase. This movie looks like it's going to be more of a horror film than an actual Batman movie. But if that's what people want, I mean, whatever. Who am I to speak up? And Vegas says, "What's up, sickness?" And Showcase says, "That's when you see Fiona getting attacked and bullied. You saw Lightcast with their BS competing hashtags in order to make one side look like they're the leaders and the other's rubbish." Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. But well, really, what it was with that whole thing with Lightcast was just to prop certain people up so that certain people could pretend to be actors when really they're not. They're not actors at all. But there were certain people that were primed to get their big break and to do certain things in a certain way so that they could have scenes with Ray Porter and that kind of thing. So yeah, we know what went on there. We know what the deal was there. Vegas says, "What was it?" Showcase says that Showcase Enosh was a true fan. Marcus, I don't know, man. I you know what? I'm not gonna hate on Enosh, okay? Because I may disagree with Enosh about a lot of things. All right, but I don't hate the guy because I have a lot of respect for him and what he tried to do and how he built up his channel and all that. So I'm not going to talk about him, but I do disagree with his assessment of the Suicide Squad. And again, I don't like the fact that has supported some things that are pretty much counter to the Snyder Cut, to the movement and all that stuff. I don't understand why people do that if they're supposed to be, if they claim to believe in one thing and be fully on board with one thing, how they can support the polar opposite stuff. I just don't understand that. So that's my problem. It's more of an issue of ideology in terms of supporting certain things and not supporting other things, but I don't know. I go back and forth on it. Showcast says no, he's not, because he's a clout chaser. He doesn't even know the comics either. Man talking about the Superman Zack Snyder did was the soups he grew up with. He always wanted to see when Zack Snyder based it on Birthright, and that came out in 2003. Zod speaking the truth about the DC fandom people. Hey, that's all I can do. That's all I can do is speak the truth. I don't know anything else. I have to speak about this movement because this was such a huge part of my life for all these years. I was right there on the front lines. But you didn't see me crying about not interviewing Zack Snyder. You didn't hear me saying anything about anything that anybody else did. I didn't. I was happy for everybody who got some success out of this and was able to build their brands off of all this stuff and hype things up for themselves. I was happy for all of them. But at the end of the day, I just kept it real, and people didn't like that. People don't like when I keep it real. I think that's why I fell out with the Nerd Queens, because their fakeness was just too much for me. I couldn't handle it. Anytime anybody comes out fake, I got to say something about it. And when I bring up the fakeness, I get shat on because I'm speaking the truth and I'm keeping it real. You can't keep it real when you're in a fandom and expect to be respected by people, because people in those situations only respect other people who are fake. If you're not fake like them, they don't want nothing to do with you. Fakeness is like a Kool-Aid. Everybody has to be drinking it. Isn't that right, Sonia?
Yeah, most definitely.
If you're drinking the fake Kool-Aid and they're drinking the fake Kool-Aid, they're going to be cool with you 100%. Hey, Kool-Aid! The Kool-Aid man is at the door. Because you know why? Because you're all drinking the same shit. Mm-hmm. That's what it is. I don't understand. I don't understand what it's not that complicated to figure out. And I love people sitting here still wondering why we don't have the Ayer cut. Are you really questioning why the Ayer cut hasn't been released? When you have David Ayer himself bending the knee to James Gunn, you cannot expect Warner Brothers to be like, oh, yeah, this guy deserves a movie. Let's give him his vision. Let's put the Ayer cut out there for all to see. La, la, la. No, you're not getting that. Because if you notice the difference, Zack Snyder never one time acknowledged Justice League as his cut of the movie. He never one time gave props to that movie at all. He never said anything. He always just dropped little hints about his cut. And he stayed true to that. That's a man right there. That's a guy who has principles and stands up for what he believes in. Not a bunch of these fakers nowadays who are just, oh, James Gunn's Suicide Squad. Oh, the Batman. Oh, the Flash. I don't know what the hell happened to Chris Wong. I don't know what the hell happened to half these people. They all used to be cool. They all used to be in it for Zack. But like after we got the Snyder cut and they all got their interviews and they all got to roll around on the red carpet, now they're just all about, oh, you have to support everything. You have to support all these movies. You have to love these movies. You have to do this, this, and this. No, I don't have to do anything. I don't have to support crap to get crap. Okay? I don't have to support crap to get more crap. The one lesson that everybody should have learned from the Release the Snyder Cut movement is never compromise your principles. Never surrender. Even in the face of Armageddon, just like Watchmen, you never surrender, because what happens is once you surrender and once you give in and say, oh yeah, I like Birds of Prey. Oh, James Gunn's Suicide Squad. Oh, Shazam. Oh, the Batman. Once you do that, Wonder Woman 84. Once you do that, you've already lost, because now you've compromised. Because now you're saying, well, they won't give us the Snyder Cut, but they're still making these movies, so we should support these movies. Well, that's why David Ayer's Suicide Squad may never see the light of day, because people just believe, just support whatever comes out. They don't care. And anytime you try to challenge these people, you try to challenge any of these clout chasers that support anything, anytime you say anything to any of them, they try to deflect and make you look like the bad guy. You're the problem, not them, because you're gatekeeping, because you're telling them that it's not okay to support James Gunn's Suicide Squad and still want the Ayer cut released. What are you talking about? How can you be in the Snyder Cut movement and be fighting for the Ayer cut now, and at the same time be telling me to support James Gunn? What are you talking about? That's completely counter to what you're trying to do. If I was Warner Brothers, I would not give this fandom, okay, this multiple personalities fandom, this schizophrenic fandom, anything. because you're all a bunch of fickle people that will jump on anything at any time. It's ridiculous. I've never seen anything like it. I'm like, wait, what are you excited? I see some of these people that I've respected this entire time. I've seen do videos promoting the Suicide Squad movie, and I'm like, but weren't you just on Twitter 20 minutes ago? Hashtag release the Ayer cut? How are you asking for the Ayer cut, but you're supporting James Gunn, who is the very reason why you'll never get the Ayer cut? And when James Gunn himself, is liking tweets where people are trashing trashing David Ayer, and David Ayer is telling the movement to push back the date of the trending event so that he can give respect to James Gunn and the cast and crew of the Suicide Squad. I nearly lost it. Because I was like, you have the Snyder Army. You have all the OGs behind you, David. The people who put a dent in WB's side and made it possible for the Snyder Cut to be released. You have all these people willing to fight for you and die on the hill for you, but you're telling us to give respect to James Gunn and wait for James Gunn's movie to come out. I was done. At that point, I was like, do whatever the hell you want. I don't care anymore, because you're just as bad as these fickle people who support everything that DC puts out, no matter what. You deserve what you get. And I'm sorry, David Ayer, but with that kind of mentality, you're never going to get your movie released. Never, ever, ever. I'll stop ranting now. Oh, Vega said you get real people behind you, Zod. Yeah, I got real people behind me. I got 419 of them. And Showcase says, so it can't be the Superman he grew up on. The burned version of Supes is the least used in Snyder's version of Man of Steel. And other things he said makes me know he's all noise and no substance. A real fan knows a fake when they get the basics of a character wrong. Batgirl says Batman has mental issues due to seeing his parents die, but he's not emo. Exactly. Showcast says, so you can like the dude or not. I'm not for someone who is a liar and disrespecting Donner on the day that he died.
Oh.
And Marcus Cruz says, we are talking about Matt Reeves, Zod, the guy who directed the Planet of the Apes trilogy. That's incorrect! Matt Reeves did not direct the Planet of the Apes trilogy. Matt Reeves only directed 2 of the Planet of the Apes trilogies. Two of the films in the trilogy. The first film was directed by a British director named Rupert Wyatt. And the first film, I might add, I found to be the best of the 3 films. And that was not directed by Matt Reeves. Matt Reeves, see, this is what I'm talking about. Matt Reeves gets all this credit. Matt Reeves gets credit for shit that he didn't even do. He gets credit for all kinds of things. So because he directed those 2 movies, he gets credit for the whole trilogy. I liked Matt Reeves as a filmmaker. I really did. But they soured me against Matt Reeves because they're using Matt Reeves too. They used Matt Reeves as like a bargaining chip to the fans for smoke and mirrors so that we would stop focusing on Ben Affleck, because they didn't want to give Ben Affleck his solo Batman movie. Even though the script was written, even though the script was great, even though everybody involved loved the movie script, they didn't want to give us that movie because they wanted to move on from the Snyderverse. So because they wanted to move on from the Snyderverse, they dangled this carrot out in front of everybody. Oh, but we got Matt Reeves. We got Matt Reeves coming in here. And Matt Reeves is going to direct an awesome Batman movie. That's what you got. That's what it is now. And then it's stuff like this. It's statements like this. Matt Reeves is getting all this credit, and Matt Reeves didn't even direct all the movies. Baby Girl says rumors are that the Batman will be even more grounded than the Nolan movies, so it might not be very comic book accurate. If you've listened to Matt Reeves talk about the movie, you know it's not really going to be comic book accurate. Matt Reeves has pretty much told us that it's going to be a character study, kind of like a noir detective kind of thing. If you really listen to the things that he's said about it, then you know it's not really going to be comic book accurate. It's going to have some comic booky things in it, maybe, because it's a Batman movie, but it's not really going to be comic book accurate. And if that villain at the beginning who's taping everybody up is really the Riddler, then it's really not comic book accurate. Marcus Cruz says, sorry, Zod, for the repetitiveness of the Fantastic Four. Just want to calm things down a bit. Hey, listen, man. Fantastic Four stuff is great. I love talking about the Fantastic Four. Baby Girl says, Marcus, the Planet of the Apes movies are overrated. Showcast says, support the Snyderverse, support the Ayer cut, but then praising the Suicide Squad and hyping up the Batman. Get the F out of here. These year one Snyder fans are fake, like Puke Station 1 era fans. and the thing is, Zach doesn't even like them, and they don't even realize it. Yeah, Zach can't get rid of these people. They're like roaches. You kill one and they continue to sprout up. They won't go away. They're latched onto the man's coattails like they're getting paid. It's ridiculous. It's like one of those kids at a party at a kid's party telling all the other little kids, "Oh, I know Zack Snyder. I'm friends with Zack Snyder. I had a Zoom call with Zack Snyder." Saying it over and over and over until all the other little kids don't want nothing to do with that kid anymore, because all that kid can talk about is the Zoom call he had with Zack Snyder and how much he's friends with Zack Snyder. And come to find out, Zack Snyder is doing everything he can to shake this kid off. It's crazy. It's crazy. Marcus Cruz says the 60s can work in the MCU, Zod. Tell their origin story first and then get stuck in the quantum realm and they come out in the modern time. So, well, that's true. That's a good thing too. But the part where I would be confused with the Fantastic Four is if you're going to have the Fantastic Four there, you have to really be able to explain away where the hell the Fantastic Four have been all this time. That's the only problem I see with it. I'd like to, and I like your idea about it being kind of like a quantum thing. You know, that could work in a lot of ways. And again, they're doing a lot of stuff with temporal anomalies and timelines, and with like Loki and all this Doctor Strange stuff, and so it's not out of the realm of possibility. And like I've told you before, Marcus, I'm excited for anything Fantastic Four that they may do, because if they give Fantastic Four another crack, it could work out very, very well, because I absolutely am a big fan of the Fantastic Four. I always have been, which is why the Roger Corman Fantastic Four is my favorite Fantastic Four adaptation of all time, because I feel like it really does capture the essence of the 1960s. And Corey Hemsworth says, right on, Zod, make the Batfleck movie. Yeah, no, I don't think so. I don't think they're going to make that movie. No, you're going to get emo sparkles, rainbows, and unicorns, brutal Batman. That's what you're going to get. And you're going to get Robert Pattinson coming home crying to Alfred. I had to beat his face into the ground. I didn't want to stop him to death, but I didn't have no choice, Alfred. I'm sorry, Alfred. Am I a killer now? That's what you're going to get. That's a scene from the Batman, I guarantee you. He's going to be the most emo he's ever been. And that's coming straight from Robert Pattinson's mouth. Showcase said, no, I said it doesn't guarantee it will be a success because of Batman Begins and Batman and Robin didn't make their profit. Yeah, but Batman and Robin, you got to remember, Batman and Robin, by that time, the audience at that time was going through Batman fatigue. Okay, and they didn't have it. They didn't want that campy stuff. Audiences still wanted darker Batman stories even back then. And honestly, Batman Begins was coming off of Batman and Robin, and that's why Batman Begins wasn't a huge hit, because people still remembered Batman and Robin as the last movie. The thing you got to remember now is we haven't had a solo Batman movie since the Dark Knight trilogy. So technically, this movie will be the first solo Batman movie to come after the Dark Knight trilogy. So the general audience is going to eat it up, and it's going to be a guaranteed hit. I'm telling you, it's going to be a hit no matter what. It's going to be a hit. It's not going to fail. There's no way it can fail unless it gets such bad word of mouth, unless it gets torched, and unless the critics on Rotten Tomatoes bomb the hell out of it, which they're not going to do, because it's Matt Reeves and it's Robert Pattinson, and they like both of them. So much like James Gunn, this is going to be a movie that's going to be very highly rated by critics, even if, the general audience isn't too hot with it. What about Affleck? Spilt milk. Affleck Batman is the most brutal Batman on screen. Yeah, well, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You got people saying that, Pattinson's going to be the most brutal Batman we've ever seen. Why? Because you saw that commercial where he stomped that guy into the ground, punched that guy into the ground. That's the only reason people are saying that. If that scene wasn't in there, they would have nothing to base that on. But because they showed that in the teaser trailer, all of a sudden, that's the Batman. That's the guy that we're gonna rally behind. Give me a break. Take your sparkles, take your rainbows, take your vampire teeth, and go back to the Twilight movies and leave Batman the hell alone. Go do a 50 Shades of Grey movie, Robert.
Oh, no, you didn't.
Oh, Rushman says, sensing Pattinson will be a subpar Bruce. I'm sensing Pattinson is a subpar actor that doesn't belong anywhere near Batman. That's what I'm saying. But apparently I'm wrong, because all these people in the quote-unquote Snyder Cut movement are all saying that Pattinson's going to be the real deal. They all love Pattinson and can't wait till this movie comes out. Baby girl says, I can't see Sparkles doing a fight scene like the warehouse scene in BVS. Oh, you better believe, baby girl, they're gonna give Pattinson some of the greatest choreographed action scenes you've ever seen in your life. Why? Because they want people to forget about Ben Affleck. They want people to get behind Robert Pattinson like he's a bag of Tootsie Rolls. That's how popular they want him to be. They want people to be grabbing at him, eating at him constantly, because they're like, this is our Batman. This is our Batman. That's what it's all about. It's smoke and mirrors. It doesn't matter. Whatever we saw in Batman with Ben Affleck, they're going to go out of their way to make sure the stunts are on point, to make sure that Robert Pattinson just looks incredible, because they want to make sure that you have no doubt when you leave the theater that is the Batman moving forward. I'm telling you right now that's what they're going to do. And the general audience isn't going to care, because it's a Batman movie, and as long as it checks a few boxes, they're going to be okay with it. They're going to be okay with Batman coming home crying to Alfred every night. They're going to be okay with that, because it's going to be done in a very stylized and noir kind of way. It's not really going to be comic book accurate, but it's going to be grounded to the point where general audiences can eat it up and get into it. There's a reason why The Dark Knight is so beloved by general audiences. And you want to know why? It's not because it's a comic book movie. It's not because it had the Joker in it. It's because it was grounded in reality. It was the kind of movie where you could be a fan of old, like 80s and 90s action movies and like movies like Al Pacino's, movie that he did, that one movie, Heat, that movie. When you look at movies like that and you look at movies that were popular around that time, that's why it was easy for the general audiences to get on board. And then the Heath Ledger performance of the Joker was just icing on the cake for general audiences. Because make no mistake, it wasn't Batman fans alone that made The Dark Knight a massive success. There's a reason why that trilogy is so beloved, because general audiences ate it up like you wouldn't believe. And that's exactly what's going to happen with Robert Pattinson. They're going to do whatever they have to do to make it so that the audience falls in love with him. The audience, because if the general audience can eat it up, it doesn't matter what fans like you and I think. It doesn't matter how much we loathe Sparkles, how much we hate 50 Shades of Grey, how much we hate Twilight, how much we hate all those movies. It doesn't matter, because to them, the money is with the general audience, not with the fans, and it never was. So you have to make films that can appeal to the general audience to get them to come to the movie theaters. Because we don't know. By then, there could be an even worse variant out there where they tell you, oh, you have to wear a mask when you go to the movies. You have to scarf up your face. You have to put gloves on your hands. You have to put casts on your feet. I mean, it could be the worst. But people will go to see it because it's a Batman movie and the general audience loves Batman. Which is why I don't understand why we weren't allowed to have the Batfleck movie, because the general audience probably would have liked that too. So it doesn't make sense at all, but that's what they're doing. And Sickness says, Pattinson's Batman is not going to be more brutal than Batfleck. Accept everything, you fall for everything. Accept anything, you fall for everything. Exactly. The time it took Pattinson to drop one dude, Affleck was fighting and taking out 3 or 4 fools at the same time. Oh yeah, that warehouse scene showed it all. Like it just took everybody out. And Showcast said, I first heard about the movement on a channel called Itzmo, then Kiera Lynn, it Waltz Mo, that kept talking about it though. None of the guys who are leaders of this movement were around back then. Well, none of the people who claim to be leaders of the movement were around back then. That's what I'm saying. When I was a part of the Snyder Cut movement, there was very few people. It was a small group. I would say probably 100 or less of us doing the hashtagging and stuff. It started off very small. It wasn't super big at all from the beginning, but then it took off as the months went on, because the more people that got to see Justice League, the more people realized what was going on. And Showcast said, and the people that Itzmo and the people that I saw on her channel are around today. You're all underestimating Matt Reeves as a filmmaker. It's not about Matt Reeves as a filmmaker, though. That's the point that you're missing. It's not about Matt Reeves. This is about Warner Brothers dangling Matt Reeves in your face so that you will forget about Ben Affleck, and you will forget about the Snyderverse, and you will move on, and you will focus on whatever else DC is giving you. That's what this is about. Okay, I don't care if the movie's good or not. That's not the argument we're having. The argument I'm having is the whole reason this movie exists is as a distraction to get you away from the Snyderverse, to get you focused on whatever else Warner Brothers wants you to do. That's all it's about. It's not about anything else. It's not about Matt Reeves as a filmmaker. It's not about Robert Pattinson as an actor. It's about distracting the audience. That's all it's about. And from the looks of things, it's definitely working. The Green Lantern fiasco, you could tell that dude was gassing people up. I mean, not around today. Reeves gets too much credit. It was the first director of the first Apes film that got the franchise going, and it was a better film too. I agree completely. I love the first film. I saw the first film in theaters. I didn't see the other 2 films in theaters. So So let me just put it to you that way. Fakeness, LOL. Keeping it real, LOL. The Kool-Aid gang, yes. Fruit Punch Kool-Aid. Hey, Kool-Aid, there he is. There he is. Oh, hey, Chris Wong. Good to see you. Hey, Kool-Aid. Hey. Oh, there's Dave the Film Junkie. Hey, Kool-Aid. Oh, my God, there he is. Oh, my God. What's up, guys? Good to see you. Oh, my God. Oh, God, can I get some of that fruit punch? Make sure there's not a lot of sugar in it, okay? I'm trying to cut down on my sugar intake. Oh. They go along, the go along, get along gang. Yes, that's what they all are. Bending the knee. ZodWriter, you're too harsh on Ayer. No, it's true. David Ayer said these things, man. The tweets are out there. And then a couple days later, he put out a tweet about pulling a knife out of his back. So I guess he realized what a mistake he had made. He put out a tweet about pulling the knife out of his back, and then he deleted the tweet. So again, man, he is as much to blame, because if you don't don't believe in yourself and don't believe in your product enough to allow the fans to fight for it, how do you expect us to believe in it and fight in it? The fandom is already fractured. You got all these people praising James Gunn left and right, talking about how wonderful he is, talking about how he's eventually going to do another Justice League movie. You got all these people talking about him, and David Ayer has been nothing but complimentary to James Gunn. Nothing but, oh, yeah, James Gunn, da-da-da. Listen, no, you can't be like that. If Zack Snyder, I'm going to tell you, as much as I love Zack Snyder, if Zack Snyder came out talking about what a great filmmaker Joss Whedon was when we were campaigning for the Snyder Cut, I would have been out. You can't tell me that's a good look. He never got his movie, and Warner Brothers rolled out the red carpet for James Gunn. And here he is, kissing James Gunn's ass. I rest my case. Seriously, guys, that's exactly why David Ayer is still sitting there with his thumbs in his ears without his cut released. That's exactly why. I'm sorry. I'm not being harsh on him. I'm going off of the things that David Ayer himself has tweeted, that David Ayer himself has said. I'm not going off of anybody else. I'm not going off of hearsay. I'm going off of David Ayer. All right? So he has to take responsibility to how he has conducted himself during this entire thing. And he has to realize OGs are looking at him like, is you crazy? Chris Wong got a 4-piece jacket. That's what happened to him, paid for by Warner Brothers. Hey, I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what happened to him. All I know is the Chris Wong I knew from back in the day, the Chris Wong that I had on the ZodWriter show 3 times, was really calm, cool, collected, reasonable, very, very respectful and kind to everybody, a very giving person, a very caring person, a very driven person. Now I don't know what. Now he's all over the place. He's constantly flapping his hands. He can't shut up for 3 seconds. His mouth is speaking a mile a minute. I don't know what's going on with Chris Wong these days, to be honest with you. I mean, I really like the guy still. I still like the guy. I still have respect for the guy. But he unfollowed me on Twitter not too long ago, and I don't know why. We've been friends for a long time. I don't know why he unfollowed me on Twitter. He didn't give me a reason why, but I have a feeling that it has something to do with the people I associate with and the people he doesn't like. So, you know, I've gotten to the point where I no longer really give a damn, because I feel like, you know, like, again, I keep it real. I tell it like it is. I'm not going to sugarcoat it and pretend to be something I'm not just to impress these people on the left, these people on the right. I don't care. All right? And that's just the truth. And Baby Girl says, yep, Zach didn't give a F about Justice League or WB. Exactly. Zack Snyder never said anything, and he never said nothing, complimentary or negative, about Joss Whedon. He didn't say anything. All he did was when somebody asked him if he was the one that brought Joss Whedon on board for the reshoots, all he did was say no. All he did was correct that error that everybody was reporting on when they said that he brought Joss Whedon in. Vega said never compromise. Yet they were too stingy to give him the full suit to go with the jacket. You know what? I don't know, man. I don't know what they gave Chris. I just know that he's a changed man. Ever since the cut came out, he's a changed man. Anyway, I found that dude boring. I couldn't really watch him anymore because his stuff was putting me to sleep. Sorry, but it is what it is. Yeah, well, I listen, maybe that's why he changed his format. Maybe that's why he talks fast now and says 50 gazillion things in a short period of time, because he wants to keep people interested. I actually never had a problem listening to him because he was cool, calculated, calm, but he's not anymore. If you watch him nowadays, he's all over the place. Well, Mikey seems to be sure that the Ayer cut will be announced at Fandom. You know what? If they announce it, and this is my theory on this, if they finally do announce the Ayer cut at Fandom, it's because David Ayer conceded something. David Ayer gave Warner Brothers something, or agreed to do something for Warner Brothers, or something. There was something involved. There's something in it for David Ayer, and not just the cut coming out. So if it does get announced, it's because of some sort of side deal that was made that concerns something else other than just the cut. Because I can tell you right now, Warner Brothers does not want to release that movie. I would say my personal belief is if that movie comes out, it's not going to come out till after the merger. But if it gets announced at Fandom, it will be because some sort of deal was worked out behind the scenes that had nothing to do with the actual Ayer cut. Multiple personality fandom. Yeah. One guy's talking, and 1 minute he's saying he's for the Snyderverse and release the Ayer cut. And the next minute he's talking about, oh, the Suicide Squad is such a great movie. Oh, it was so good. So comic book accurate. Vegas says, I was optimistic at one point where if we supported the other projects, we didn't ask for that, they would give us what we want. But I realized the truth, and that's that WB ain't here for us. No, they're not. I agree. Ayer cut keeps losing traction because David keeps flip-flopping, sending mixed messages to the fans. Real shit. Facts, Vega. WB doesn't give a shit about fans. Say what you want about the Star Wars fan base, but at least they stay true to their word. They boycott the sequel trilogy, did not support it. LOL. Zod is hyped today. Yeah, I'm hyped today. See, you know a true fan because they're passionate and support what's right. The underdog like Zod and Sonya do. That's what we do. We support what's right, and we don't drink the Kool-Aid. Sonya never drinks the Kool-Aid. I'm gonna tell you right now.
I sure don't. Mm-mm.
Sonya does not care what you tell her. Sonya can smell the BS, and if she knows it's BS, she's not supporting it. I already know. I've had so many conversations. I'll ask her about some goofy political thing, and she'll tell me straight up about what's really going on and what happens. She does not drink any Kool-Aid whatsoever. I'm going to tell you the truth right there. It's the reality.
I do my research. I think for myself. I make up my own mind. I don't follow nobody.
No, and there's no reason to do that. Because at the end of the day, everybody is going to say what they want to say because almost everybody has an agenda. Almost everybody does. And when they tell you one thing, you have to be like leery of everything. Because anytime somebody just tells you something, and no matter how pretty and awesome it sounds, you can go out there and you can find something to debunk it. You always can. And why is that? because there's always an agenda at play. So, that's why I try to keep it real. I think what I think, and I have every right to be right, and I have every right to be wrong. And you know what's funny? When I'm wrong, I have no problem apologizing. I remember when I was wrong about Matt Reeves leaving the Batman project. I went on the tour, ZodWriter show apology tour, and I was apologizing because I was wrong. Matt Reeves didn't leave the project. He left once for creative differences, but I was told by some insider, alleged insider that I knew, that Matt Reeves was going to leave the project again for creative differences. And I got all kinds of crap because I was told that. And then as it turned out, he didn't leave the project. And so I went out and I apologized and said, I got that wrong. I was wrong, whatever. When I'm wrong, I don't have no problem admitting I'm wrong, but I was 100% right about James Gunn. And I was 100% right about the Suicide Squad. And Showcast says, supporting those who others won't support, supporting the underdog. Like roaches. Yep, like roaches. LOL. Cockroacha gang. Yes, LOL. Baby girl. Hashtag rainbow and unicorns. Yes. And Marcus Cruz said, I rather watch Phase 4 right now than the Hamadaverse. Oh, I agree. I'm telling you, this kind of stuff is making me into a Marvel fan because at least Marvel is consistent. At least they're consistent with what they're doing. Who's not excited about the Spider-Man? About seeing multiple Spider-Man and seeing, I just want to see Doctor Strange tell Peter Parker to shut up. I just want to see that scene that they showed in the trailer. I'm so excited just for that scene. Marvel's being consistent, and and that's cool. At least whether you like it or you don't like it, at least it's consistency. Neil Sevens, what's up? Good to see you. Baby girl says, poor Alfred will probably blow his brains out after listening to Sparkles cry every night. Yeah. Alfred's going to drink himself to death in Matt Reeves' movie. That's how Matt Reeves' movie is going to be darker than Zack Snyder. Batman is going to whine and cry to Alfred so much that Alfred's going to drink himself to death. That's what's going to happen. Alfred is going to die of alcoholism in this movie, in this trilogy of movies. If it becomes a trilogy, it might just be one movie. Oh, are you back from work already, Koopy? Good to see you, man. Glad you decided to come back and join the party.
Did he ever leave though? I don't think so.
I thought he did. I thought he said he had to go.
He said he had to go. Maybe I don't know. Maybe he had to get back to work.
Showcast says, wasn't he in Harry Potter where he got killed? Did he? Yeah. Did he get killed in Harry Potter? I don't know. You watched the Harry Potter movies, didn't you? I don't know. I don't remember. Yeah, I haven't seen them in a while. I've seen them though. They're not bad, but I'm like, but I can tell you one thing. There's people out there that are Harry Potter fans first, and they jumped on the bandwagon for the movement second. So I don't know what happened. Maybe they'll come out with another Harry Potter movie, and some of these people will be gone. No. Neil Seven says, wear a hazmat suit to the theater. Yes, that's what's gonna happen. It's gonna be so bad that me and Sonia are gonna have to wear a hazmat suit when we go to see the Flash movie. I mean, I really don't. I mean, we're gonna go see the Flash. We're gonna have to wear a hazmat suit. We're gonna have gloves. Have a big red button on our nose. It's gonna be ridiculous. Hell? Yeah. Hazmat suit. Yep, I can totally see it. And Baby Girl says, I first joined the movement after I signed that petition. Yeah, that's how a lot of people, that petition that came out from that one dude. Yeah, that was the start of everything. And Marcus Cruz says, at least with Phase 4 of the MCU, they're giving you what you want, say what you want about the qualities of the MCU movies, but at least they love their fans. Again, I agree with you. I could not agree with you more on that, Marcus. Like I said, at least with Marvel, you're getting consistency. you know what you're getting. You know you're going to get an entertaining outing. It's not gonna blow you away. It's not gonna be nothing, life changing. But at least you're gonna be entertained for a couple hours, and you can go back to your life. It's that simple, and I don't mind that. I'm fine with Marvel being that way because I want Marvel and DC to be two distinct companies. So I'm perfectly fine with Marvel giving me that type of entertainment. I don't have any problem with it. Look, I may talk crap about Marvel from time to time, but I haven't really been talking crap about them lately. And I'll tell you something else. Every time I go see a Marvel movie in the theater, I come away entertained. At least I feel good when I leave the movie. Like, yeah, that was a fun movie. I enjoyed the popcorn. I enjoyed the food. I enjoyed my drink. I enjoyed the film. I'm good. And that's all you really want from a movie. That's all the general audience really wants from a movie anyway. That's why those Marvel movies work so well. That's why they're so popular, because that's what they give you. That's where the term popcorn flick comes from. Movies like that. You can just go to the movies, eat your food, and enjoy your film, and come away feeling all right. And Baby Girl says it's about Emmerich and Amada trying to save their asses/jobs. Well, yeah, that's what it is. That's one of the things that it's about. And really, that's the only thing that it's about for them. But I mean, these movies are going to have to be, I think these movies are going to have to be big successes for them to save their jobs. Because normally when companies come in like that, they really do clean house unless they have a real legit reason to keep you. So actually, the Batman isn't gonna be able to do just okay at the box office. The Batman, I think, is gonna actually have to overperform. And Kupi Malik says, "Sad how WB wants MCU money but can't even do right by the fans." That's true. LOL. There was a girl I was following early on named DC Dilly or Dilly DC, something like that. She did convo with Itzmo, and Kevin Smith revealed Darkseid was in the movie. She saw Aquaman and then Ghost. Oh, wow. Kupi Malik, as a Marvel fan, I feel sorry for DC right now. They have no plan. Yeah, sad, really. Ghosted, disappointed by the change of tone in Aquaman. Yeah, Aquaman, but I kind of feel like you kind of have to take Aquaman as like a standalone movie because I kind of looked at Aquaman the same way I look at Marvel movies. I went to the theater, I watched it, I ate my popcorn, I ate my food, drank my drink, enjoyed it, and walked out. That's it. Aquaman 2 is going to be darker, though, and more serious. Ooh. Marcus Cruz, this is why they say, Marcus, we shall see. Yeah, and they did a stream with some Latino dude, and Itzmo went on to do that protest outside Warner Brothers in her Wonder Woman costume with a few others. Showcase, yep, you got it. You know what? You know what should have been done after Batfleck is done as Batman, make him old Batman and make Robert Pattinson Batman Beyond. That would have been better in my opinion. Actually, that would be pretty good because Robert Pattinson has more of a Terry McGinnis look to him than a Bruce Wayne look, if you ask me. But that's just me. I agree with you with the Batman Beyond. I had heard David Ayer had agreed to the changes to his film, whereas it was a completely different situation with Zack Snyder. Primary reason it's not going to happen. Yeah, that's the other thing. David Ayer completely signed off on every single change that WB made. So we're supposed to feel sorry for David Ayer when he comes out saying that his movie was tampered with, but David Ayer signed off on every change that they did. You know why? Because he's a nice guy. He went along because he wanted to be a company man. But you know what they say about nice guys, though, right? Huh? They finish last. That's why we don't have the Ayer cut. Well, he's still making a film at WB, so I won't be surprised him not trashing WB, which is why I believe Sutton. Well, yeah, he's making a film for WB now, which is probably part of the deal. Part of his deal probably was, hey, you got to release the Ayer cut. So that could be it too. But I believe Mikey too, because Mikey has a lot of great takes. I'm not trying to trash on Mikey or anybody. They have great takes, and if Mikey believes that, Mikey has his reasons for believing that. So maybe that's true. I've never, like I said, I'm a really big fan. I think, Geekosity, I think they got their stuff together and they know what they're talking about. Sil Abdul's a really good friend of mine. So I don't have anything bad to say as far as that goes. I mean, it could be true. I'm just saying based off of the way that they're acting and the way that, David Ayer's been lately, who knows? Didn't David Ayer want to make Gotham City Sirens at one point? Yep, absolutely. But they used him as the scapegoat and threw him under the bus, and that's why they, that's what it is. The studio always blames the filmmaker when a movie turns out less than what they want it to. Sickness says it was crazy to see Chris Wong switch up over time. I was down with this shit and watching him and others since after BVS came out. He changed after he started rolling with certain people. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely he did. That was a big thing with Chris. Chris, you could literally go to his channel and you could watch his videos and you could see the progression over time. Well, that's how it was when we first started fighting for the cut. When me and Chris were being interviewed by newspapers, local newspapers and stuff, and websites and different things for the Snyder Cut. Okay, you could see the difference in demeanor as it changes, as time goes on, and he gets more and more connected with certain people. You can see what happens, and it is sad. It's sad to see how people change and are no longer who they were when they started. That's why people don't like me, because I never changed. I stayed who I was from the beginning. I'm the same ZodWriter I was when the Release the Snyder Cut movement started. I never changed who I am. I didn't bend the knee. I didn't kiss the ring. I didn't start kissing up to certain people just to get access to Zack Snyder and a few has-been celebrities. Look, I don't care. I'm not, it doesn't bother me one bit that I've never interviewed Zack Snyder. I've already told the story that, when I was doing my ZodWriter show on PSN Radio several years ago, I learned how to get in contact with people's agents, learned how to get in contact with agencies, learned how to get in direct contact with people. If I really want to put my mind to it and take the time, I can get in touch with Zack Snyder's agent and see if I can get an interview with Zack Snyder. It wouldn't be the toughest thing in the world I've ever had to do. And if I really wanted to do it, and I really cared to do it, and it was really something that was on my mind, it would be something I could go for and I could do. I wouldn't need to get involved with certain groups that are letters of the alphabet. I wouldn't have to, kiss the ring of Harry Potter fans just so that I could talk to Zack Snyder. It's ridiculous to me, all the stuff that people see and all the hoops that people have to jump through. Oh, I contacted these people on Twitter because they told me those were the people I needed to contact in order to be able to get in touch with Zack Snyder for an interview. Are you kidding me? What, these people are Zack Snyder's publicists now? Give me a break. All of a sudden, these Harry Potter fans are the spokespeople for Zack Snyder. Give me a break. My God. These people could literally drive you to drink. God, every time I start talking about them, I want to reach for a beer. Oh, God. Daniel Martin says, of course I get it. I watching it when it all happened at the time. Daniel Martin says, Showcast, what's up? What about Kira Lynn, her, at Daniel Martin? And somehow Chris Wong are not that interesting to watch anymore. Don't know why. Sad though, because I like the guy. Yeah, I like the guy too. I still like the guy. I just don't know what happened to him. I don't know why he's the way he is now, but it is what it is. I don't know. Well, I do know, but yeah, whatever. Baby girl says, damn right, people need to think for themselves. Showcast, no. Was she with that group? Oh boy, was she with that group? I'm trying to stay ahead here. Uh, she was an old school fan who reacted to TV shows, but her best video was her drunken rant against Marvel, making jokes all the time while DC was being serious. Neo7 says a lot of folks that seemed cool have done a complete 180, shaking my head. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Because they were all about themselves from the beginning. You see, that's when the true colors start to come out. When you start to learn about people like this and you realize this is who these people really were to begin with. You know, some of these people, this is their first sniff of dealing with famous people. Obviously, you know, talking to Zack Snyder is a big deal, and I'm not trying to belittle, you know, these people that have talked to Zack Snyder, but you would think from the way these people are acting, like they talk to Zack Snyder, so their life is made, and you don't even have to talk to you. You can't even approach them now. I mean, it's ridiculous. If that's what happens to you when you talk to Zack Snyder, I don't want to talk to Zack Snyder. Baby girl says, I'm just going to stick with Zack on Netflix. There you go. And Showcast says, Marvel, you're ruining your brand. We don't want to see Ultron making wisecracks like Tony Stark. Get serious like DC. Daniel Martin, it was brilliant. She made that video after Suicide Squad Comic-Con trailer dropped. Definitely, baby girl, restore the Snyderverse. Suck at WB. But she's not on YouTube anymore. Yeah, he died in Harry Potter, the Goblet of Fire. Alfred will say, Bruce Wayne is my precious in the Batman. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Corey Hemsworth says, haha, streaming the Flash movie if they require hazmat suits. Oh, yeah. I'm not going to the movie theater in a hazmat suit. I'm not going anywhere in a hazmat suit. What about you, Sonia? They're gonna start selling hazmat suits at Walmart.
I don't even go anywhere with masks. Wearing them.
So if they tell you got to wear a hazmat suit, you won't be coming out of the house.
No, I'll come out the house. I'm just saying, they just won't be seeing me up in their theater.
Hazmat suits. Welcome the zombie apocalypse. Anyone watch the What If episode 3 reactions on YouTube? These Marvel fans are idiots. Most of them couldn't remember the events of the Phase 1 movies that the episode took cues from. Oh my God. I'm actually loving this What If. I love seeing these alternate takes on what happened in these movies. I think this stuff is really cool. I think this is one of the most ingenious things that the current Marvel Studios has come up with. I really like it. I think it's awesome. Daniel Martin says Alfred will die by cirrhosis of the liver by the second movie. Oh yeah. Yeah, again, he's going to die of alcoholism because Bruce is going to come home crying to him every night. What did I do wrong? What did I do tonight? I need a new bat wheel.
Oh my God.
It's gonna be emo. It's gonna be emo up the gazoo. That's what it's gonna be. Sickness says Chris changed after he started chilling with Dave and them, but you could see it coming. It was sad to see him slowly change and disappointing. I was the dude's first member too. Yeah, I'm telling you, man. I used to talk to Chris quite a bit. I had him on the ZodWriter show a few times. You know, he was really a good dude. And like I said, I miss those days. I miss those days before the cut came out when people were actually people instead of pseudo celebrities. Now, I don't get it. Graphic vandalism. Johnny says you still going? Yep, we're still going. Yep. And Zod, you hating on nice guys now? No, I'm not hating on nice guys. I'm just saying David Ayer has proved the old cliche that nice guys finish last because David Ayer is a nice guy. And Koopy Malik says, of course, Zod still has many coins for the Stream Arcade. I sure do. Showcast says, kiss the ring. And Daniel Martin says, you got to salute Zod. He's a man of his words and convictions. Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't care who I offend. If I offend these people, they weren't they weren't here for me from the begin with. To begin with, I'm sorry. I'm hoping that I've been able to enlighten some of these people, because some of these people I don't know where they're coming from. I don't know if they're coming or going. And Showcase says, yeah, ring kissers. Yeah, forget the clout chasers. We're talking about ring kissers now. Rather kissed. Okay. Rather kissed a girl's lips than kissing a ring. Flash better than metal. The self-proclaimed publicist. He unfollowed on Twitter. Yep. Mm-hmm. Wait, he unfollowed him on Twitter? Oh, I don't know. Right, Koopy Malik. Rather be a French kisser than a ring kisser. Yeah. Showcase want all the MCU to be dark, so you want Fantastic Four to be dark, which will never work. Hazmat suits, LOL. Yes.
No, thank you.
Hazmat suits are coming, because I'm telling you, man, that's what's gonna be. The next one's gonna be, well, you gotta wear a hazmat suit. If you go outside, the virus will get you in 3 seconds. You gotta wear a hazmat suit. It's gonna protect you, and it's gonna protect the people around you.
Fuck the government.
Hazmat suits.
Thank you.
Wow. Marcus Cruz, stop being stupid. I said serious, not dark. Marvel took things seriously, not trying to be a goddamn comedy that the movies are. Yeah, well, that's why I like Marvel taking steps in the other direction every once in a while, because it's nice to see that they can, switch it up every now and then. Daniel Martin said the What If series is some of the best storytelling to be associated with the MCU. I agree. I think it's fantastic. Showcase says, at Marvel, the MCU is not Marvel anymore. Any level, how about that? A joke of a franchise and a property. No stakes in it, because the movie has to make a goddamn joke all the time. Showcase, you can make them serious and funny at the same time. Balance it out for characters like Daredevil, Punisher, Moon Knight, Blade, Ghost Rider. They all have to be dark and serious. Oh yeah, all those characters will be dark and serious. And again, I can't say enough about What If, because I like What If going in different directions, giving us stories with a little bit of a different flavor. But you can tell it's still MCU, but they're trying to show you things from different perspectives and in new and creative ways. So I don't understand all the hate that the show's getting, because here's the thing. It's different stories. None of it is canonical. It's all just different universes. It's different timelines. So what does it matter? People need to chill. It's cool. It's a different thing. Showcase says, yeah, Zach unfollowed everyone and only follows 3 people right before Snyder Cut came out. Oh yeah. But I know but we got to remember, Zach stays on Vero, and I think he follows all those people on Vero. So Twitter's not really as important to him. And Marcus Cruz says anime is better than both, though, and they're not balancing it out. That's the point at Marcus Cruz. Hazmat Suits the series. Watch it. Warehouse around you. Oh, now that is funny. That is so funny. Hazmat Suits the series. Well,
you caught it with this chat.
I would love to see a. Oh my God. Well, it's okay. I'll wear a hazmat suit as long as I don't have to pay for it. Marcus Cruz says, Showcase, yeah, I get it, but this Phase 4, they're changing things up. The Moon Knight TV show is going to be dark and serious. Oscar Isaac even said it will be deep. Showcase says, because these Marvel films don't know what if is, that Marvel fans don't know what if is. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Showcase. What if is very different, and they don't understand that what if is going to give you a different take. So some of these stories are going to be dark, and some of these stories are actually going to have teeth, which is what a lot of the Marvel movies do not have. So like I said, I'm really enjoying What If. I'm really excited. I can't wait until the next episode. I'm like glued to it. I wish they would.
Am I gonna have to get Disney Plus?
No, you know what? I don't know if I'd go that far as to get Disney Plus just to watch that,
Well, I
but
did
I
it for
mean,
the Mandalorian, and I canceled
well, yeah,
after the Mandalorian.
For the Mandalorian, yeah, because the Mandalorian is top tier. It's actually some of the best Star Wars they've had in a long time. So yeah, Mandalorian, it's definitely worth it. And there's going to be more Star Wars stuff coming out. So Disney Plus, I mean, might end up being worth it in the long run. Who knows? Marcus Cruz says the whole point of what if is what if. Exactly. Yeah, but Twitter is important to them because more people on Twitter, so they can't have the clout like they would because he unfollowed them. Well, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess because they're still in contact with him, though, is what it is. You had one of them put out a tweet the other day. I just talked to Zach about the next whatever, about the next Justice Con or whatever the hell they're going to do. So who knows? Daniel Martin says we're gonna get Sonya and Missy Elliott bubble suit to wear around when she jam skates.
What the hell?
A,
Oh
Mi- a
no!
Missy Elliott bubble suit. Wow. Okay. That's
I probably wouldn't fit into it. I'm not one of them thick girls. So
well. You did. We'd have to give you some extra padding.
oh, shut the fuck up.
Extra padding for Sonya. I see it. It would. I see it when I see it. I'm not going for the fake hype led by Campia and the Collider crew, acting like this Marvel character is going to get killed and never does. What if and Elseworlds stories are cool? Yeah, exactly. And if DC does Elseworlds, they have to make it live action in order to be different from What If. Yeah, I'd love. Oh my God, I'd love to see a DC live action Elseworlds. They would have all the excuses that they could do anything they wanted to do. Oh my God, we'd probably get some really great stories then. Uh, do you have any hope for DC fandom? Uh, no, not really. I mean, I'm gonna watch it. I'll watch their little vignettes and whatever they put out, and listen to Andy Muschietti talk about Supergirl and the Two Idiots. I'll definitely watch, but I don't know if I really have any hope for it. I guess we'll see. I don't know. Is that not the CW? Oh my God! If Elseworlds is CW, oh my God! Yeah, you're right. I take that back. Wow. And Showcase says, and Zod is caught up with the chat. Yes, I am caught up with the chat. Sonia, do you have anything you'd like to add to this amazing conversation right now?
No, it's been pretty interesting just listening to you guys. But nah, I just thank everybody for showing up tonight, and
Yeah.
everything's been chill and cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've had a nice chill and cool group of people here tonight. I really enjoy this. I'm really glad you guys could come, and we're going to be back with episode 21 on Tuesday. So hopefully everybody is excited for more of late night Q&A with ZodWriter featuring Sweet Sonia G. We'll be back here again.
What does Daniel say? I can't let Zod finish.
Oh yeah, meaning the end of the line. I can't let Zod finish the chat. This can't happen. Corey says, "Great show, Zod." Thank you, Corey. Elseworlds will be HBO Max and CW.
Baby girl
Not
said keep
CW.
talking.
Keep talking. Oh no. Always a great time with y'all. Always a good time with you too, Vega. Always
Thanks
a
for
good
coming
time
by,
with all of you guys.
Vega.
I love this. I love when you guys show up. I mean, it makes us feel really great when you guys show up. It's a reason to keep doing these Q&A shows. It's fun. You ask the questions, we give the answers as best we can. It's fun just to be here with you guys, and it's been great over these past 20 episodes. I can't believe we've done this many episodes of this show.
I know, right?
It's fascinating. It's really fascinating. And Baby Girl says, night, everyone. And Showcast says, later, Zod and Sonia. Later, Zod, later, Sonia. Great live. Good night, everyone. We will be back on Monday with episode 21 of Late Night Q&A with ZodWriter featuring Sweet Sonia G. Hope you guys all have a great weekend, rest of your week, and a great weekend. This is awesome. Definitely
Take care,
great.
everybody.
Take
Dang,
care, everybody.
we went 3 hours and 20 minutes.